All right, and welcome everybody to the next episode of the RF Generation Collectorcast. Krabby, what's going on, man?
I'm back home.
You're back home in the Great White North?
I am.
How many times have you shoveled your roof so far?
Not yet, but I've heard it's going to be pretty rough winter when it starts up, so you'll have to ask me in a couple months.
Really? We've been hearing about this huge El Nino thing, and it's supposed to keep us kind of warm. So are they just, does that mean everything's going to stay in your direction then?
Apparently, I've heard we're going to have one of the coldest winters we've had in a long, long time.
Well, you Canadians can just keep all your cold to yourself.
Gladly.
We're going to be toasty in the El Ninos, hopefully anyway. But in this episode, unfortunately right now, Bill's can't be with us, but if he gets a chance, he'll jump in here. But, getting into it, we spent a great time at RetroWorld Expo, right, Krabby?
It was fantastic, yeah. Really fun.
Yeah. We're going to dig into our little story about that a little bit later in the episode. And, of course, we've got a lot of questions up front, right?
The best part?
I know. Everybody's so really good about delivering us questions. And if you didn't catch it on social media, I'll apologize in advance. I've got a little bit of a cold, and so I sound probably a little nasally and scratchy. But if you'll bear with me, I would certainly appreciate it. And by the time you gripe at me for this and I have it edited, I'll be well. So I'll feel better about myself. Hey, let me tell you that. This drove me crazy. Right before we're getting ready to do this thing, I go to the drugstore. I'm like, I'm going to get some Sudafed because I'm going to be recording, and I want to keep everything, moving. And I go to the pharmacy, and I go to get Sudafed. And I don't know if it's the same way that it is in Canada, but I go to where the Sudafed is, and there's just a card. There's no box of the medication. And the
take
cards,
it to the cashier or what?
Yeah, it says, take this to the pharmacist, and they'll fill this for you. And I'm what? And it's a smaller town, and I look back at the back, and the pharmacy is closed. But it's a pharmacy, right? It's the whole building. It's a, retail pharmacy. So I'm like, whoa, okay. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it up to the front. And I ask them, I'm like, okay, this thing's set to go to the pharmacy, but they're closed. They're like, no, we can't sell that to you when the pharmacy's closed. I'm like, but this whole place is a pharmacy. Well, I'm sorry, there's only certain, I'm like, seriously? So I couldn't get my Sudafed. Evidently, the reason for that, I found out, is because people make meth with Sudafed. So thanks, meth heads.
Thanks, Breaking Bad.
That's something. I mean, seriously, I asked. I was like, why can't, all the other medications are right there on the shelf. People make meth with it. And I'm like, I don't want to buy 6 pounds of it. I just want one box of a couple tablets.
But then if you buy one box from 10 different stores.
Oh, they've got me. Then take my picture or something. I don't care. I got a cold, right?
Watch me drink it right in front of you.
Yeah, seriously. I'll pop the pill now, and then you can have the package back. Oh, is it that way there in Canada?
I don't know. I don't go to the pharmacy very often. I don't get sick very often.
Well, I don't usually, I take tons of extra medicine, but, I'm sure I probably mentioned on the show before, but, I've had a liver transplant. So they give you a list of medications that are these are the okay medications for you to take because some might interact with your anti-rejection meds. And so literally cough and cold, your option is Sudafed, not anything else.
Gotcha.
So if I want some sort of nasal relief, that's all I can do. And honestly, I don't get sick very often, quite honestly, but I've just learned now that, I'm just screwed. It's not normal business hours, obviously, so I'll have to plan in advance the next time I get sick.
Yeah, my wife used to work at the Costco pharmacy, but everything was behind the counter there. There was no on-the-shelf stuff, really.
Nothing? No over-the-counter stuff at all?
Yeah, but it's not a typical pharmacy. They had some weird rules, and they'd close earlier, and they weren't really connected to the rest of the store and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah?
You heard of OTC video games?
Who's it? What's it? What?
What? They have an online store to buy old retro games and modern stuff too.
No, wait. You know, they buy stuff?
They do buy stuff. They even have great deals where they pay for shipping for some things. If you're sending in over $100 worth of stuff to them, they'll cover the shipping in the U.S.
So wait a minute. So like all these like Nintendos and stuff I've got piled up here in the corner, they'll buy them from me?
They will. They'll pay cash or store credit.
No, I mean, you know, these things, I run across them all the time. I'm at the flea market, you know, you see them for a couple bucks, you pick them up, you clean them up, you're like, you know, maybe one of these days. But, I mean, they really do kind of pile up in the corner after a while, right?
Yeah, they'll take big piles of consoles, no problem.
I mean, that's pretty cool, because maybe I want to trade it in for a retro VGS or something, huh?
Maybe.
Okay.
And if you want to keep some of those consoles instead of selling them, they also sell parts to fix them up.
What? Oh, so like I have like a Super Nintendo, like, and the controller ports are all screwed up. So you're just saying I could get the part and I fix it myself?
Absolutely. You'll be playing NBA Jam in no time.
Oh, man, I love NBA Jam. Thanks.
No problem.
Okay.
They also sell like boxes and magazines and promo items and lots of stuff to do with gaming.
You mean, oh, wait a minute. Now you're trying to tell me that for all these loose NES games I've got sitting around here, I could buy boxes to put them in?
You might be able to. Check it out.
What? I mean, okay, now I know you because you love having boxes for like your N64 games and stuff. So, I mean, would you go out and look at them for some boxes for your stuff?
Not only would I look at them, I've actually bought some from them.
Really? So tell me about like your experience that you're trying to tell me that I should buy from them and how to go for you.
It was awesome. I got a bunch of strategy guides I wanted. I got some TurboGrafx games. I got some Box 64 stuff. They were so happy with me they even threw in a free t-shirt that I wear once in a while. It says
What?
OTC video games across it.
No way. These guys sound great.
They are, and I'm in Canada. They shipped up here too. It's not just the US.
Oh, that's pretty cool because a lot of people don't like to deal with customs, right?
They don't, but no, these guys were awesome.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, what do I do if I want to sell my stuff or buy some games? What do I do?
Just send them a message. They've got a bunch of social media places, or you can find them on otcvideogames.com.
OTC Video... okay, yeah, I've got their site right here. Hey, it looks like they're just the same thing on social media. They're OTC Video Games on Twitter, and they got a Facebook page.
And since I did my purchase, they've even added this new reward system into the store. So you can refer your friends, and you get free 5% off your first purchase. And then every dollar you spend, you earn points, and then you can use those points for discounts later on.
Oh, man, I love that. My local store has something that's pretty similar. It works out great, especially when I'm buying games for my friends.
Speaking of local stores, it looks like they're opening up a local store in Pennsylvania this fall.
Oh, man, where at in Pennsylvania?
Lansdale? Do you know it?
Lansdale? Well, yeah, everybody knows where Lansdale, Pennsylvania is. They really need a great store.
Well, they won't after this fall.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, aren't they coming to RetroWorld Expo?
I sure hope so. That would be amazing.
They are. I'm pretty sure Bill told me that they're going to have a table there so we can meet the guys and maybe buy some stuff.
Maybe they'll give me a discount if I wear their awesome shirt there.
I don't know. Maybe they will. Don't we have some sort of coupon code with them, though?
I do believe we do. If you type in Collectorcast into your final cart, I believe you get a 5% discount.
A 5% discount for using the name of our podcast? I couldn't even forget that.
And guess what else, Chris?
What? I mean, there couldn't be anything else. This is too good to be true.
If you're spending more than $50, and don't kid me, you're definitely going to spend more than $50.
Well, you know.
They're going to ship it to you in the U.S. for free.
Wait a minute. I don't even have to pay shipping. I mean, eBay, Amazon, they always want to charge me shipping.
Their prices are usually very competitive to eBay and Amazon anyway, so you should go buy from them and save the shipping and save a few bucks on the games.
Man, fantastic. It sounds like if I really want a great place to go for classic video games, otcvideogames.com is the place to be.
It's my place.
Now that drug talk is over.
For now.
Would you like? Yeah, for now. Who knows where the questions are going to go? Would you like to dig into some questions, Krabby?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. The first one here is from Facebook. So Thomas Blaine from Facebook's a little lengthy, so bear with me. He says, let's say you're down to one item to complete whatever set you're after, and no matter the cost, you could acquire it for free right now. However, the catch would be the moment you accept that game, then your childhood favorite game would no longer exist. Would you do it, or at least consider doing it after weighing the options? And this deal would only affect you. It wouldn't affect anyone else from playing and enjoying the game. That's a deep thought. So last thing. So Krabby's Nintendo World Championship. You can have it for nothing, but a childhood favorite has to disappear forever.
If that meant there was no more Mega Man 3, I couldn't do it.
No, and there's no. They would still leave the good one, Krabby.
No, I don't think I could.
No?
Yeah, getting rid of games that I love, it's not worth. There's other cool, expensive, rare games I can find, but there's only one favorite.
A sealed magical chase wouldn't even tempt you? Wouldn't even consider it?
I can never play Mega Man again?
If you can never play Mega Man 3, if that's your childhood favorite,
yeah,
it would disappear like it never existed.
No, I don't think I'd be happy with that.
No? All right.
No, it'd have to be a ridiculous amount of money. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something like a sealed air raid or something of that caliber.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of these, I'm trying to think of something that would just be absolutely bonkers, but maybe Shigeru Miyamoto in a box holding Super Mario Brothers. So every time you played Super Mario Brothers, you plugged it in and he had to hold it the whole time.
And Charles Martinet was behind you making the sound effects.
That's right. It's a me, Mario, the whole time. For me, no. I'm at the point with my collection that the last few games I have, I would need, would be interesting, but not like, oh my god, I can't wait to play this. It's more like, oh my god, I can't wait to plug the hole in the shelf.
Yeah.
I couldn't give up like a Mega Man 2 or a Ninja Gaiden or, because even though I've got, I'm sure you're the same way, right? You've got all these crazy expensive games, but which ones do you go back to?
Yeah, like Little Samson once in a while is the only big one. Zombie Nation once in a while too, but yeah, there's not a lot of them that get much play.
That's true. I will give Little Samson. That's probably out of the crazy expensive games the one that's worth playing often.
Yeah.
I'm never reaching for Dino Peak on the shelf.
No, once I finish that, I've never once had the desire to plop it back in again.
No, I've never even. I got first level. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I feel pretty good about myself now.
There's some fun stages later on, but there's better games for far, far cheaper.
Yeah, I would imagine so. But that's a good question. Very deep. So out there, think to yourself, if you had to, would you do it? I'd be curious if anybody would take that bargain. Let us know. Now moving over to Twitter, we've got a few questions from Twitter. We've got a couple up front from The Single Banana. So Rich from the RF Generation Playcast. He was at our panel at RetroWorld Expo, right?
He was.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But technically speaking, when we're recording this, it's October. So what's your favorite survival horror game? I'm not going to promise you I'm going to have this out in October, but
what's your tight?
Yeah, so what's your favorite survival horror game, Krabby?
I have a big soft spot for Resident Evil 2.
So,
2. No, it's got to be number 2.
Number 2.
Nothing better.
Why number 2?
It's got those fixed camera angles that I love. I don't mind the tank controls. I love that really tight inventory where you got to figure out what you can take with you. You can't take everything. You're always short on ammo, so you can't kill everything. You got to figure out other ways around enemies. So that always kept it really tense in like a horror game. There's a lot of other ones where they have like horror themes to them, but I never felt scared or tense or anything on them. Like, I really thought I was going to get that through Dead Space, but I felt too powerful in that game. Like, I was never scared of the bad guys.
Okay.
And just like one zombie in Resident Evil 2, whatever. But just like 2 or 3, like, it gets like, you can't take that on. You got to run.
Yeah, and that game had that really cool system where the two different characters that you could play through, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you had the 2 discs that you had to go through, which was pretty novel at the time.
Yeah, and then that's one of the first games I ever got into, like, speedrunning, because you had those, if you did them quick enough with a few saves, you could unlock extra weapons and missions and stuff. And so, that got a ton of replay from us.
Yeah, that's true, because you could get, like rocket launcher and all that stuff.
Tofu?
Tofu.
Hunk?
Oh. Yeah, Hunk was from a Tofu. Which was the one that had that whole extra Survivor game? Was that 3?
Might have been.
Where they had, like, that thing was The Survivor?
That might have been 3. No, was that 2 with Hunk? I can't remember now. It's been a while.
It was.
It might have been 2.
Yeah, I remember, like, there was a whole, like, separate, just, like, really short little extra game. You had, like, a knife. That's basically about it.
Yeah.
They always kind of started doing that a little later. They always put those little extra games in there, which was always pretty cool.
Totally.
So, Resident Evil 2. Personally, I would have to go with, and this is tough, I would probably go with Dead Space. I want to say Dead Space 2, because I think Dead Space was probably a little better game, but the story in Dead Space is much better, I think. Really super creepy, and just that oppressive feel of that ship, and kind of just the environment that you're in.
Do you ever see the movie Event Horizon?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And Event Horizon was one of the movies that just creeped the living crap out of me.
That is the first movie as, like, not an adult, I was probably, 16, 17 when I saw it, where I got nightmares after watching it.
Oh, man.
At that age. Like, I wasn't, like, a 10-year-old or anything. Like, yeah.
Well, I was, probably, early 20s or whatever when that came out. Saw it in the theater. And I mean, I can watch some movies. I was like covering my eyes in parts of that movie because I'm like, oh my god, just this stop, make it stop. It really creeped me out. Seriously, very bad.
Yeah.
And Dead Space definitely had that same sort of feel to it. I think the mechanics worked better in the second game than the first one, but I think just the story itself. Although in the second one, I thought it was really cool because there was a section when you go back to the ship. Mm-hmm. And that was really well done, very creepy. But I think that would be my favorite of the clan. So up next, Rich has got another question for us. He says, also, what are your thoughts on the new Friday the 13th Kickstarter?
It looks interesting. They put in the stretch goals that if they get enough, then they'll do a single player mode, which would get me more interested in it. But I like the idea of having Freddy versus, like, what was it, like 6 or 7? I think it was 7. Because there's 8 players, right? 7, like, college kids hanging out at the camp kind of thing.
It's kind of like the NES game, except, more players.
Yeah.
Right? You got to defeat Jason. So, I mean, I'm going to guess you have not kicked in on this. Is that it?
I have not, but I know 3 people locally who have.
Really?
Yeah.
Have they gone in just the minimum to get the game, or?
I think so. One of them was talking about maybe bumping it up to one of the collector's edition things, but I think they all just put in the minimum right now.
Now, I'm not sure how much longer that campaign has to go. Do you know? Because they've not hit the goal yet, I don't think.
I think there's still 2 weeks left on it.
Is there?
I think so.
Because weren't they still a couple $100,000 short?
Let me check.
Oh, okay. Well, while you're doing some on-air research, I'll give my thoughts about it. Interesting. I've never been a big Friday the 13th buff, personally. I've seen some of the movies, of course, but I've definitely not seen all of them.
They have 19 days left to go, and they are 75% funded.
75%. What's their total?
Their total is 526,000 out of 700,000.
Okay. Yeah, so a couple 100,000 left to go, which
that's
they'll
gonna
probably get
happen.
a surge. Yeah, they'll get a surge at the end, so very likely that they'll get the game made.
Yeah. I love that it's just like a fan project by people who know what they're doing. They say did you read any of the stuff on it at all?
Just a little bit. I had Rich talk to me about it the other night and kind of catch me up. And I guess the idea was that the guys came to them and said, hey, we want to turn this into a Friday the 13th game. Yeah,
and it's like a whole ton of people that were involved with the original show. And they say right in there, like, because they have all the question and answer section, and one of them is, why don't you go to a publisher to do this? And they're like, because we don't want this game to be rated T. We want nudity. We want excessive violence. We want this to be Friday the 13th. We don't want it to be some weird form of Friday the 13th.
So it makes you wonder about the mechanics then, because if you're playing one of the teenagers, does that mean you got to try to get it on with one of the other teenagers? That way Jason will appear? Because that's what always happens, right?
Totally. I don't know. That sounds funny.
Is there going to be like a get naked button or something that you can press and like, bow chicka wow wow, and then
you gotta literally take your clothes off in front of the Kinect.
And does the person that gets to play Jason just have like a signal that goes off like, somebody's getting it on, I gotta go.
They're in the tent 40 paces to the south.
Yeah, no doubt, right? Just has like an alarm system that's, I detect pheromones in the air, I have to go.
That's it. He's part animal.
Something like that. This is something I would never get in on. It's not my cup of tea, but I think it's cool. It's a cool story. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are interested. I honestly, out of those movies in the past, I liked Freddy Krueger movies a little bit better.
Well,
so
I kind of hope this does well, so that they try and do faithful adaptations of other movies, so they might hit one that I'm really passionate about.
Oh, so what would be your big passionate one that you would like?
Well, anything with Brad Pitt in it, right?
Oh,
do a proper Cool World video game.
My!
7 Years in Tibet, the game. No?
Oh, maybe they could do...
You could do 7. You could be like a murder mystery.
Oh, yeah. What's in the box? No, I was thinking, what was that one where he did like the barber,
What?
Yeah, the one where he's the barber that kills people.
Are you thinking you're thinking of Johnny Depp, Sweeney Todd?
Oh, sorry.
That's Johnny Depp.
I'm getting Pretty Boys mixed up here. Sorry.
Oh, Brad Pitt's on another level than Johnny Depp. Come on.
Okay, 12 Monkeys, the video game.
Yeah, there you go.
How about that?
Could you just a proper Fight Club game? They did a bad one before.
Oh, yeah. I think that ship has sailed. But, all right. So that's my thoughts anyway. So if you gets close and it looks like it's going to make it, do you throw in at any point or you're just like, I'll buy it off the shelf when it comes out?
Well, it's all online multiplayer. If they just reach their goal, that doesn't interest me.
And is it going to be physical?
I think that was one of the stretch goals too. I think it has to hit a certain point.
I gotcha. So if it hits the stretch goals for single player and disc, are you in?
If you can do 8-player local, 100%. I would buy that.
There's no way. With like eight ways to put split screen or something. Everybody could see what everybody was doing.
That's fine. I don't mind that.
No, it's not.
People still get mad at me when I play GoldenEye. Like, stop looking at my screen. I'm like, that's how it works.
Have you ever seen like the people like that would put the cardboard on the TV?
Yeah, we could do it like Fibbage there. Just everyone gets their phone and you have your own little screen there. There you go.
Everybody wants to play games on their phone like Friday the 13th, right?
We had a good time doing it.
It was a different kind of game. Unless it's just giant buttons that say sex, run, kill, something like that. So I don't know if you guys are into the Friday the 13th Kickstarter. Let me know. I'll be curious to see how many people that listen to the show are backing it, or well, maybe by the time this is out, probably won't be much time left. But it'll be interesting. The only franchise I could think of that, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't think Halloween. I've never been a big Michael Myers fan, so
it's just like Friday the 13th, but with like 1 or 2 people instead of like a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
In an urban setting instead of out in the boonies.
What do you think? Child's Play, maybe?
Oh, God, no.
Chucky?
No.
What are any other big franchise? I can't think of any.
Leprechaun.
Any other big franchise. Leprechaun.
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. Now that could be good.
Huh?
Right? The Cenobites, wasn't that what they were called?
What about Cube? You ever see that one?
Oh, I love the Cube movies.
That could be an interesting game. Just having a whole bunch of people in different rooms eventually meeting each other and trying to figure out how to get past traps.
Oh, that sounds like such a good idea for a game. Let's start a Kickstarter.
All right, done. Funded tomorrow.
And if you guys have not seen the Cube movies,
Canadian.
what's wrong?
They're
What's wrong
Canadian
with you?
movies.
Are they really?
They are.
Now, like the third movie was kind of...
You just need to watch the first one. You don't need to go past there.
I think the second one was pretty good.
It was okay.
But yeah, the first one's fantastic. Yeah. Third one, But anyway. All right. Moving on. We have at Sega Tomcast, and he asks, what's the max you would spend on a Nintendo World Championship card?
I told myself I wouldn't go over 10,000 on it, and a whole bunch of sales have passed 10,000 on them, so I think I'm out on that one now.
Let's say the guy with the screwed up label copy that says Mario on it comes up to you and goes, 10 grand today.
Today? No, I need like 10 grand 2 or 3 months from now.
Well, but you know what I'm saying. Like he says, no, I decided I'm ready to let go of it. $10,000, it's yours.
10,000 Canadian dollars?
Sure.
Then I would have to think about it. I'd have to sleep on that. Then it'd be in the realm of possibility.
I see. Go sell a few things or whatever.
Yeah.
Flip a few pinballs and there you go.
Figure out how long I want to sleep on the couch.
You could always tell your wife what I think. I was listening to Narc podcast one time and Rip bought a gray NWC. And I think that's what his deal with his wife was, is that he could keep it for a year and then he'd have to sell it and make more money off of it or something like that. So
that's
you could just lie to your wife and say that. Will he sell it? Come on. After a year, she's going to forget about it.
Ooh, I don't know. You're going to get a lot of money to not forget about.
Yeah, life happens. You have a kid or two, they're busy, they never notice. Never notice. It's not like, taking a car and doing something with it. It's just another one of those Nintendo games on the shelf. Who knows, right? I don't know where it went. It's in there somewhere. If you can find it, honey, you tell me. Me personally, how much would I spend on a NWC cart? It would have to be stupid cheap. I'll just be honest. It would be insultingly cheap to where no one would ever sell it for that little. So, if somebody wants to sell me one for a couple $1,000s, I'm a buyer. But I've already consoled myself to the fact I will never, unless I have a rich uncle I don't know dies and gives me millions of dollars. But
you'll find one in that thrift store. Just you wait.
Oh, sure I will.
Right behind those creepy dead-eyed dolls that we were looking at.
Yeah, I have no problem. I'll find 5 of them laying around somewhere.
You cut me a good deal on one of those, right?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just going to open my own little NWC store. Don't worry about it.
Only NWCs all the time.
That's right. But no, I own a repro cart. It's good enough for me. It's probably as close as I'll ever get. This is a hobby. It's not a mortgage. So, I got to keep things in mind. I got 3 kids to feed. And that would be a lot of college money, quite honestly. All right, moving along. That's probably not the most exciting question to ask. We're Collectorcast. It's probably like, well, they should be saying they'd spend all kinds of... Okay, so if you want me to lie to you, $20,000 is what I would spend. At Bickman2K, that's Adam. We saw him also recently.
We did.
What is your favorite NES horror game? And he says not Famicom or anything unreleased unless you want to answer that separately. So la-di-da, he put some restrictions on it, Mr. Man and his thing. So favorite NES horror game?
Would you count Death Race?
No, that's unlicensed.
He said unreleased. He didn't say unlicensed.
Oh, that's true. He didn't.
I mean, would you count that as a horror game?
Yeah, kind of.
Chiller's kind of fun too, but not for too long.
No, yeah. Chiller or Baby Boomer? Yeah, no.
I don't know. What would you count as horror games on the NES?
Traditional horror? Probably not very much.
There's Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know if I call them horror games, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to think of, something that would be truly what about, disturbing.
Like, Uninvited?
Maybe. But still... I mean, Shadowgate has its,
It has moments.
Little creepy moments from time to time. Taboo. Because you could be dead. Right.
Frankenstein and Dracula.
I mean, if I had to go with a theme, I'd probably say, Castlevania? I mean, probably Castlevania 3. That's the genre, sort of. It's not really a horror game, but, I mean, there's not very many to choose from.
Castlevania 2's got more of a horror vibe to it.
Really?
Really?
How so? You're not even getting attacked by Dracula. You have to put...
It turns
Dracula is such a chump,
tonight,
you have to
and everything
rebuild
gets all
him.
spooky and intense. And
I know, but, the end boss is a joke. I mean, it's
the rest of the game, though, has, an atmosphere of horror around it, where the rest just have that, theme slapped onto, action.
I don't know. I mean, it's not even horrific, right? There's one boss you can just walk past. That's not very scary.
It's only when you know what you're doing. The first time you fight him, it's not like that.
I guess, yeah, you just actually beat him in about 2 seconds flat. Sorry. I don't know. That game is so pathetic. It's this game sucks so bad, I have to build the boss to beat it. And, because he can't even resurrect himself.
It's because you whooped him so bad the first time.
Right. Why would you even do that? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway. Anything?
I'll stick with Chiller. I think Chiller's the best horror game on the NES.
Yeah, that's tough. There's not a whole lot that I can think of offhand in that genre. So we'll move on then. At Isrit101. Again, another buddy that was with us at RetroWorld Expo. Everything just plays together, right? Everything goes into the same theme. He asks, what game or games is R? Lots of slashes and things here. So I'm just kidding. What games are so terrible that you ended up loving them? So bad, they were good.
Why don't you go first this time? You got
so bad, it was good. In some ways, I hate to say this the wrong way, but I would say No More Heroes to some degree. Because some of the gameplay stuff was not great, but the story was hilarious.
Yeah, that game's so campy and cheesy that it ends up being fun, and there's some really stupid design decisions in it, but it's still fun despite them.
Yeah, but it's, it feels like some kind of Tarantino flick on acid or something. I mean, it's got a really, really weird take on it. The Japanese impression, maybe, of a weird Tarantino film. But yeah, I think that's what I would go with. I would probably say No More Hero and the sequel, which is also really very strange.
I haven't actually played the sequel. I've only beaten the first one.
No?
Yeah.
I want you to take a guess what happens in the second one. I want you to think hard about this. Oh, I think mechanically it's a much better game than the first one.
Right.
It's still the same wacko story. So if you enjoyed the story for the first one, play the second one.
Oh, totally.
It's actually better to play.
Gotcha.
Your hand will get tired from flailing the Wiimote, but
you can use the Move controller on PS3 version.
That's right. You can use the control. No, that's just the first game, though. So it's just the first game.
Oh, they didn't do the second one. That's right. It's for remake of the first one.
Heroes Paradise has some of the boss battles from the second game in it, but not the whole game.
Right.
So you got to get the Wii version, which is probably 25 cents by now.
Oh, I'm sure I've got it.
There you go. So play that one. It's good. So what do you think? What's a game that's so terrible that you loved it anyway?
It took me a really long time to beat a few NES games, and some of them actually grew on me while I got, and I'm very proud of being able to beat them. One in particular is Time Lord.
Time Lord.
I really like that game now, and it's not great. And there's 2 parts in it that are just super, super challenging and frustrating.
I mean, what scale are we? Are we like Deadly Towers bad, or or what?
What would I relate to? It's got a little bit of the Mylon Secret Castle where you just don't know what the hell to do at certain parts, and it's got a couple parts that are like Dragon's Lair, one hit I'm dead kind of things.
Oh man!
But they're not. The whole game is not based on those mechanics. They just show up at a couple points. So once you figure them out, it's fun. And Conan. Again,
Conan.
Not a hard game. Yeah. It's just hard to know what to do.
It's just not well made.
Yeah, once you know what to do, it's actually pretty fun.
All right. Well, yeah, you had a couple stinkers in there that you're trying to redeem.
What's the other one? It's on the Rare Replay now. The Solar Jetman.
Oh, I hate Solar Jet, man.
That one was so infuriating, but so rewarding once you finish the levels.
That game doesn't give you any clue of what you're supposed to do.
No.
If you don't have the manual, forget it.
You were mapping stuff out, trying to figure out where to go, totally.
Oh, and it's like, I'm a flying egg. How exciting is this? Oh, man. Yeah, Solar Jet, man. Anyway, well, I was trying to think. As a kid, I actually played a bit of and beat Deadly Towers. So I would have to say to some degree, I have a soft spot for Deadly Towers. Not that I would think I would spend a lot of time with it now. But
I might hit you up for some pointers later.
I don't know if I could remember. It's been a long time.
It'll all come back to you.
The pain will come all back to me. So that's some good ones. I would be curious to find out from our listeners here what games they thought were really bad, but kind of so bad that they were good. Because, there's some of those cult favorite kind of games that are out there, which sometimes you just have to experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, moving up to this last one. I think this one could be interesting and could be a little polarizing. So just keep in mind that the opinions that we hold are our own. don't reflect anything else. In fact, Will, who asked this question, didn't didn't want to ask it. He thought it would be maybe a little too much. But Will, I said, hey, we'll answer questions. We're stupid. We'll get people mad at us. So at what SWC, it's Will. He says, "What do you think of people who refuse to dump prototypes to the public?" And he had some more to say, but I'll leave the rest out because maybe it would give a hint as to his thoughts on the matter. So I'll let him discuss those on his own if he chooses to. But we're dumb enough to dive into this, so...
Totally.
What do you think of the people? See, that's the hard part about this question, because now you're asking us to judge human beings, which is never a fun thing to do.
Oh, it's always fun. Come on.
Decisions, I can judge decisions all day long, but to cast aspersions on people, it's not quite as comfortable. What do you think of those people? They say, oh, I don't want to release this. I paid all this money. I want to hold on to it. It's mine.
I have no problem whatsoever with it. I think they either did the legwork, they paid the money, they got incredibly lucky, whatever the reason they ended up with this thing. It's theirs to do with what they want. I'd be super happy if they wanted to dump it or make a reproduction of it or whatever, but realistically, I have a bazillion other games I'm probably 100 times more interested in that, it's not even a thought in my mind. I have no problem with them keeping it if they want to keep the value or just have something unique or whatever reason they want to keep it for.
So what if you found out that there was a prototype version of Mega Man 3 that was really good, but quite a bit different? And the guy owned it. No way, I'm never releasing this thing. You'll never get to play it.
Yeah, same thing. Like, I've got enough other things I really love or I can look forward to that one game out of tens of thousands I'm not going to fret about. If he wants to dump it, like, props. Like, I would give him, like, the Nolan brothers, who dumped a ridiculous amount of prototypes over the years. Tons of respect for those guys. Awesome. If they didn't want to do that, it wouldn't have affected me much anyway. I bought maybe like 3 or 4 of them over the years.
Yeah. I just bought their most recent release, actually. The Crazy Land release. Yeah. Personally, as far as the people themselves, because that's what the question asks, what do you think of the people who refuse? I don't think anything about it. I mean, they're choosing to do what they want to do with the property they own, right? I mean, do I think they're jerks or something? Not really. Now, the question maybe I would rephrase it a little bit into is, what do I think of the mentality of that? Like, I don't want to share. I don't know if that's what you're trying to get to. If it was me, that's all I can say, right? Like, all I can say is what my choices would be. I would probably like to go the same route that the Nolan brothers do, where they sell reproduction copies to recoup the money they put into the prototype, and then they still keep the prototype.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win, right? They get to keep the original, other people get to play the game, and nobody's hurt.
And
right?
I don't know, it builds the community, right? You have more information you're releasing to the community to strengthen them. I think it's a really good thing for people to dump them, but I don't look down on anyone who doesn't want to.
Yeah, because I think probably one of the big ones that a lot of people know about is like Socks the Cat, right, on Super Nintendo.
I've never heard
knows
of that until this moment.
No, Socks the Cat Rocks the Hill?
Nope.
Oh.
So like a Bubsy clone?
It's a game about President Clinton's cat.
Maybe it's more known down there.
Yeah, I'm sure in Canada it probably wasn't a thing.
I didn't know he had a cat.
Named Socks. That was the Clinton's cat. I think the thing why I would bring that one up is because A, everybody knows it exists, and B, everyone knows exactly who has it. And that person has chose not to release it.
Interesting. Is it like Dream TR or someone like that?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Dream TR has kind of always been one of those people that's like, if I want to sell it, I'll sell it, but I don't owe anybody anything to just give it away or whatever. And I agree. You know what I mean? If I had to go out and do a lot of work and spend a lot of money to get some of these things, I would be personally a little upset if everybody just threw a fit and said, "Oh, you owe us, gimme, gimme, gimme."
Yeah.
Right?
No, that guy specifically has done so much legwork. Like, even though he did it all for himself, we have, 5 or 6 NWC golds floating around because of him over the years?
Yeah, and some of the games that he used to have, he sold and have been released by somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's his choice. I think the thing is you probably get more flies with honey than with vinegar. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people probably make it even worse because they get on forums and things and they bash people. And say oh, how selfish that you would, and I don't think that's ever going to win you anything. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, how selfish that you spend months of your life researching and driving and tracking these things down and contacting people and making
I just give it to me for free.
Yeah.
I just want it for free because I breathe. You know what I mean? I get it. I don't like the entitlement feeling, but I would say that, I am happy when someone decides to release it, even if they're going to charge me for it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to pay for that. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's perfectly fair for the owner to make some money for all their hard work. There's nothing wrong with that. And if it gets a game released, that's great. I mean, this year, man, there's been a lot of unreleased games. So just the other day, new Dizzy game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Wonderland Dizzy. You can download the ROM or play it off their website.
It's what all us Dizzy fans have been waiting years for.
Right. Yeah, said no one. But anyway, I mean, an NES game just comes out of the blue and it's like, hey, here we go. Here it is, world. Go have it. And it was pretty cool because if you go on the website, you can play it on the website through an emulator. And they even have box art and a sticker label made up that you can download and print. So, I mean, if you want to make your own cartridge, it seems like they seem to be pretty good behind it. And they're like, hey, we just want to put this out there. I think they're trying to plug a book or project or something like that they're doing. But, hey, whatever you want to do it. I know Lost Levels, Frank Cifaldi runs that site. He's released a lot of prototypes for free that he's done work with. I think him and Stephen Lynn have done a lot of preservation work. And I totally get that. Some people are preservationists where they want to do it more for the history and they want that stuff out there for everybody. And then there's some people, I think like Dream TR, that are more of like collectors, right?
Yeah.
They're not there to do it for everybody else. They're there to collect things on their own.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to bash that. I don't know. I mean, is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much on the same page.
Yeah. And do I understand the other idea? I understand the longing, for sure, of saying, like, man, I really wish I could play this. I totally get it. I don't particularly want to play Socks the Cat on Super Nintendo, but, I mean, if somebody told me, like, hey, there's this awesome NES game, and we've got the proto, and it's complete, and it's great, and too bad you'll never play it. I mean, that would bum me out a little bit. I'd be like, oh, that sucks. But, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at the person, right? I would say like
you just have to make friends with them and go visit.
Yeah, like can I play it? Or how just try to put them some ideas in their head. Like you could really maybe make some money by doing this. But anyway, I think that's all of our questions that we've got for this time around. So thank you everyone for sending questions in. I do want to throw out one thing, a little extra this time around. One of our wonderful listeners from RF Generation Addicted on the forums was very kind to donate some codes for some free goodies, some Xbox codes and some Steam codes, mostly some Humble Bundle stuff. Now, I honestly don't know a lot of these things. A few of these games I recognize on Steam. I'll throw them out there, like Guacamelee, which is awesome.
Bill's always talking that one up.
Yeah, I see a code for Psychonauts here.
Solid game.
Yeah, Bit Trip Runner.
That's a fun one. I've actually played a ton of that. I played it on our trip down there.
There you go. And we've got some extra codes, and there's some other ones in here too. But here's how the code giveaways are going to work. We will give away a code of your choice, either Xbox or Steam, to people that submit questions for the next show, and we read your question on the show. So if you want a shot, you got to send in a question for the show, and you need to let us know somewhere in the question whether you want Xbox or Steam. And from there, I can't promise you what you'll get. It's probably just going to give things out first come, first served. And if there's more left over, we'll do it again next time. But we've got quite a few codes here, so I think we'll probably be good for a little bit. How's that sound, Krabby?
That sounds very fair.
So Krabby will be asking lots of questions on... No, I'm just kidding.
I need that Guacamelee code.
Guacamelee is pretty fantastic, isn't it?
I haven't played it.
What?
It's download only.
There is no physical version of Guacamelee?
Not that I'm aware of.
Krabby, you need to play Guacamelee.
Well, next time I come, we can play it.
It's no, it's kind of long. It's like a beat-em-up Super Metroid.
Yeah, well, you downloaded Mega Man 10, so I could come over and play it. So next time I come, you can download something else weird, and I'll come and play it.
How about this? How about next time you get an Xbox One, and you for yourself, because eventually you said you're probably going to get one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I can give you my login information. You could log into my account from there and play the game.
We'll see.
Come on.
See. I got a lot of other stuff to play.
Oh, I couldn't make it any easier for you. You're killing me.
You could just send me a copy in the mail. That would make it easier.
I can't. There's no physical copy. I would send it to you.
That's what I mean.
If there was a physical copy, I would send you a copy. That's how good I think that game is. Didn't they come out on Vita? But probably just download.
I haven't seen a physical one for that on Vita either.
Wah, wah. All right. Sorry, Vita owners. Seems like that thing is going to turn into a really weird niche machine, right?
There's some, if you really like JRPGs, there's some cool stuff on it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Sony's officially said that, we're not doing anything else on it.
Yeah, they called it a legacy machine at one of their shareholder meetings a few months back.
I think even more than that, I think recently they've flat out said, we're not putting any more games on it.
Well, yeah, that's what they meant by legacy machine is, we got a year or two left of producing the actual hardware. We're not putting any money into the software side of things.
So I'm curious, you think, is Sony completely done in the handheld space?
Yeah, I don't think they were too happy with their last two outings.
I was really surprised the Vita came out.
I couldn't see them doing a third one. I'm surprised it came out with so little support from Sony behind it. They started off strong and then just nothing immediately.
Yeah, they really gave the PSP a lot more of a push than they did the Vita. It seemed like the Vita was kind of like, well, Japan really wants this, so I guess we'll also release it in the US, because why not?
And then I think more people thought you could use it almost like a Wii U pad where you could play your PS4 games and PS3 games to some extent back and forth with it and take them on the go and stuff, and that really didn't materialize like most people thought it would. Yeah,
I think I like the idea of remote play, but I don't like the execution. So we probably just really don't have the...
Then the Nintendo NX is going to be for you.
Maybe, right? I don't know. Do you think the rumors are true this is going to be the hybrid machine?
I could see them doing that. They always want to do something different, and that's different, but also kind of what people want. So I can see them giving it a shot.
So the thing I kind of worry a little bit about that they've said, didn't they say recently that they're using like, somebody wrote an article and said they're going to use like front, high-end chips or something like that?
Yeah, that was the Wall Street Journal article, yeah.
So doesn't that seem to, I don't know, maybe it's high-end mobile chips, but do you think maybe that means console?
Knowing Nintendo, I can't read into that. I really don't know what they would do. I'm just excited to find out.
I don't know. I don't know. Ultra Nintendo could just be like, 128-bit sprite-based machine with cartridges. And I'll be just fine with that.
I'm in.
Before we get to our main topic, I wanted to also go back and kind of revisit, because the last major show we had was the Retro VGS show.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing's kind of,
in limbo.
Yeah. I guess to kind of just come back and just give a brief look back. Well, maybe an update and a look back at what happened a little bit. Yeah. And I think to some degree, maybe, we weren't too far off in some of our characterizations.
It's unfortunate.
But yeah, it failed really badly, right?
Yeah, like the first couple hours looked good, and then nothing else after that. Like, there was no support. Like, usually you get the big jump on the first week, and then it's a slow burn unless it gets picked up at like big news things, but it really wasn't going anywhere.
And I think the scarier part to me was that you could actually watch the pledge levels go up and down, up and down. It just kind of kept fluctuating in this small, narrow band of donations. And, to ever watch a number go down, that's not a good thing. No,
this should be enough new guys to offset the one or two that are dropping out kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that, quite honestly. Which is, it's a shame, but I think they learned some important lessons. I think they did probably the smartest thing they could do. After really ticking a bunch of people off, they closed it down and said, we're going to go back to the drawing board a little bit. We heard you. We're going to walk this back.
Yeah, and as soon as it started and started floundering, that's what you were saying they should do. And sure enough, like a week later.
I think that's the only thing they could do, right? Because if they let it go, then there's no way they could ever resurrect this idea. It's done forever, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot stuck in people's minds more if it burned the whole thing and failed rather than them pulling it.
Now, what do you think the actual reasonable chances are that this thing comes back?
Ugh. What do I actually think, or what do I hope happens?
No, what do you actually think?
If we see an announcement next year, I would be surprised. I think at least in 2017, they might say, hey, 2018, we might have something out for you. Like, I think they're scrapping everything and starting from scratch again.
Or do you think they just put their tail between their legs and go home and like, okay, we'll just forget it?
I don't think Mike Kennedy is the kind of guy to do that. I think he wants this to happen so badly that he's going to at least try again. Whether it succeeds or not, it's another story, but I think he'll try again.
Yeah, I think, I don't know the inside story. Maybe we never will. I think there were some wrong people putting wrong ideas out there and steering the thing in some weird directions. And there was no unified voice for speaking for the product. You know what I mean? And that was tough. I think that was probably the thing that sunk the ship.
Especially during those last few days, it was a bit of a mess right before they announced, like, officially.
Yeah, and it almost got kind of ugly.
Yeah.
At one point in time, where it was almost like, you should just trust us. And it's like, that's never gonna fly. You can't really just go, well, I know this looks horrible, but just trust me. You can't say that, right?
Not for that amount of money.
You can't say, you should never say that because, I mean, now it becomes personal, right? Now it's a personal rejection. It's okay to say, hey, Mike Kennedy, I don't think this is a good idea for a product, but now that you want to put it on yourself personally, I'm like, that's, you shouldn't do that. It's okay to fail. You know what I mean? You're not a failure. The product fails. It's okay. Walk it back, right?
Yeah.
But to say, trust me, I know, and I know things you guys don't know, and I don't know, right? I don't know. I wish the team that comes out of this the best of luck. I still don't think it's a terrible idea if it's done in a very affordable manner. The only thing I did see come out of this, though, is that the guy that was helping them with some of their FPGA stuff looks like he's building a cartridge-based console. And actually has some YouTube... he's the same guy that did the HDMI NES stuff recently. Kevtris.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if you look on YouTube, you can see... I think he calls it like this... I love the guy, but I can't... He just cracks me up. Zimba 3000, I think is what he's calling it.
That just sounds like a Korean, Super NES backup,
I think
knockoff kind of thing.
Exactly. I think it started out some kind of joke at some point in time, and he's just moving forward with it. So,
jeez.
The guy is technically brilliant. Maybe he needs a marketing person. That's all I can say. Anyway, I wish whoever cracks this nut the best luck, because it's a nut I would like to see cracked. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hope it happens next year from somebody, anywhere.
If they can do it well. So I wish, hats off to whoever can figure this thing out. Okay, so we wanted to spend a little time, Krabby and I, kind of reminiscing about RetroWorld Expo, because before, we talked all about it. It was, October 3rd in beautiful Wallingford, Connecticut, although the weather wasn't beautiful that day so much, right?
I wasn't looking outside.
You were standing outside, waiting for your hoagie or whatever it was, right?
Just daydreaming about that thing.
Yeah, it was pretty cold. But to kind of set this up a little bit, we hope Bill could be with us and maybe he can share a little bit from his side, next time we get together. Because Bill was very busy in the planning and execution of this show, right?
Oh, yeah. That day, we hardly saw him when we did. It was in and out. He was always 10 things on the go until we got to sit down with him for the podcast.
Yeah, and I even kind of felt like the whole time we were there, even like at his house, I think he felt like he had to play host, which is, I understand it's your house, you do to some degree, but I kind of felt bad. It's like, come in here and play some more games with us,
Yeah.
But I understand. He had a lot going on. He was still watching ticket sales, and it was a big deal because first time out, I can't imagine A, putting something like that together, and B, hoping you don't lose your shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could see him lighting up every time he checked his phone for ticket sales. Like, we're getting so close to the goal.
I know, because that's got to be a nail biter. You think in your head, like, what if nobody comes?
Yeah, they had that magic number, and you could see how close they were getting, and then that night they hit it, and he was just beaming after that.
Right, and then, blew way past it the next day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fantastic. But I'm sure Bill will chime in and talk more about that when he's got an opportunity. I think that would be good too, because some people asked kind of what the process was of setting a show like that up. So I think some people are generally interested in what goes into the making of a convention.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
What makes it tick. So would I. I don't know if I'd have the lunacy to try it, but they had a good group of guys to pull it off, right? Some smart guys.
Yeah.
So, Krabby, you want to... I think probably the whole thing starts a little bit more on your end in terms of our trip, right? So do you want to start off a little bit?
Sure. So I had quite a long flight. So my trip started a couple days before most other people's, I think. Because we had, what was it, like 14 hours? I can't remember now.
Yeah, I think you were like 13, 14 hours.
Good part of a day flying on the plane and ending up, went from my place in Prince George down to Vancouver, then through customs in Vancouver to go down to Los Angeles, and then all the way from Los Angeles to Indianapolis, with layovers at each place, of course. And then you were kind enough to wake up in the middle of the night to come make sure you were at the airport for, was it like 5 or 6 a.m.?
It was about 5 a.m., I think.
To come grab me there, which was awesome. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, that was fine. I felt worse for you, quite honestly, because, I mean, I could get some sleep in my own bed and get up, and I thought you were going to, like, be, cramped from being in these chairs for hours and just, like a zombie by the time. But I should have known better because you don't sleep hardly at all anyway, right?
No, it didn't take long to get used to your hours.
Yeah. And you actually got some sleep when you were here, right?
Yeah. Really good sleep for a couple of days. Yeah, we slept in really good that morning.
I know, definitely. Now, I'm going to guess, I mean, between your place and mine, as the crow flies, that's probably like 2,000-3,000 miles?
I have no idea. I didn't even think to look it up. Maybe more.
I'd be curious, but I would probably guess, off the top of my head, maybe 3,000 miles. So it's not a short distance. Even if you could get lucky enough to get a straight shot, which you couldn't.
No, like Eric that came in from Germany had a shorter flight than I had, which I found surprising, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, well, that didn't surprise me. Having gone over to Europe before, it's not that long. I mean, you'd think like, wow, but Atlantic Ocean's really not that long.
Right.
So
it is 3,670 kilometers.
So was that in miles then?
I'm going to see if I can find a converter.
Okay, while you do that. So yeah, I had to get up early and go pick Krabby up from the airport.
That is 2,280 miles.
That's a pretty good guess then.
Yeah,
I had a pretty good guess. Close.
If I drove, it would take 35 straight hours with no pit stops.
That sounds like a nightmare. Sounds like a horrible nightmare.
A little bit.
I thought it was weird, like 13 hours, because I've got a friend that has lived in Japan, and getting there is not much longer than that. But again, you had like layovers, right? Like pretty long.
Yeah, there was a couple of like 3-hour layovers.
Yeah, so that's probably part of that. So we had kind of planned, because that was what, Monday morning that you got in?
That would have been Monday, yeah. Yeah, I left Sunday, I think.
And because the show wasn't until that next Saturday, so we made sure we had plenty of free time to goof off and do whatever.
Yeah, we didn't want to rush there.
It was kind of like the Duke and Krabby party hangout time.
Yeah, we just had days of playing, PC Engine, Famicom, 360, NES, and game hunting for days. And
lots and lots of game hunting.
Yeah. Met a couple of your friends and hung out, played some games, had some lunches. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and the thing you had mentioned, you were like talking about how you're so surprised there were so many game stores around.
They're everywhere, yeah. Like it was insane. And then to see like at the actual convention how many stores were in close enough proximity that they could all come, and Bill was even saying there was some that couldn't make it or didn't want to for whatever reason. It just blew my mind. Like, there's literally, you'd have to drive like 4 hours to get to the nearest like board gaming store from here, and they have like barely anything for video games. You'd have to drive like 8 to 9 hours to get to the next game store from me.
Wow, you are in the middle of nowhere.
No, yeah, and they're like, I don't know. You'd think there'd be a bunch just in my city too, but there's not. And then you guys had like tiny little communities that had like 4 or 5 of them, and just in was one little nowhere town kind of thing.
Oh yeah, and we didn't even get to see them all.
No, there was too many to hit.
Yeah, I mean there was still a bunch. We probably could have easily spent a a whole nother day easily.
Yeah.
To see them all. And we didn't even really... Well, we hit that one flea market, which was terrible. But it was really bad. I'm kind of glad we didn't go to more flea markets because they're really hit or miss.
It was fun, though. We had to chat and look through some weird, disturbing things.
Yeah, that's just probably...
Joke about what you find there.
Yeah, some creepy old picture of some woman that would stare at you or something.
Yeah. Or the weird, had like the 3D Jesus picture. Look at it from different angles. It does different things.
Yeah, that was interesting, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. It's interesting. But yeah, we came back. I was surprised that we stayed awake because I thought you would probably be pretty tired, but we did. And yeah, for a while we just played games that day, right?
Yeah, you busted out the PC Engine right away, and we just
we played what? Rondo.
I played Rondo Blood. Actually, didn't we play? We played Famicom first, right? We played Crisis Force right off the bat.
Yeah, that's right. We whipped Crisis Force.
Yeah, one
right
try
off the bat. Did we play anything else?
On the Famicom?
I think we did. We played the baby game, right?
Oh yeah.
We played that one. We didn't get anything else. Yeah, we played some Rondo. And then, was that about it?
We played something before Rondo, too, didn't we?
I want to say, Ninja Gaiden on PC
that was
Engine.
right. And it was kind of Ninja Gaiden, but not. It was freaking me out. It was weird. The game was fun. The music was... I couldn't get behind it. It was just too different.
But wasn't the strangest part like the parallax scrolling?
Oh, yeah, it was like going the wrong way.
The wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. It was pretty... It's really disheartening because, like, I've played it before, and I guess you don't notice it as much because you're playing it and you don't say much about it. But me watching it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't watch this.
Gonna throw up.
Yeah, it's very odd. If you haven't seen it, look up a video or something. And
watch the background, not the ninja.
Yeah, it's really very strange. I don't understand. Somebody messed something up somewhere. And then we went out to the game exchange, right? Didn't we?
Yeah, met. Was it Ken?
Yes, we met Ken.
Yeah,
at the local game exchange and chatted up him a little bit. I think you picked a few games up at there, right? I mean, I don't expect you to memorize exactly what you picked up where, because let's be honest, you picked up a lot of stuff, right?
We grabbed a few cheapies there, I think. Just some PS1, PS2 games that I didn't have that were like just a few bucks a piece, but decent stack of them. Yeah,
we just had kind of a good time chatting up Ken and staring at the NES TV that he had stowed away, then do not touch sort of thing, and talking to them, and just kind of getting a feel for it. And then we went to the Muncie Game Exchange, right?
Did we know anyone there?
No, we went to there was a pawn shop we went to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We stopped by the local pawn shop. I don't think we bought anything there because it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Muncie Game Exchange, and we did look around a lot because it was a lot bigger, and we waited because Dustin wasn't there. Dustin was the manager of that game exchange. And
luckily, when you're waiting for things there, you have Darkstalkers to play and Bust a Move and some other awesome arcade machines.
Yeah, and you made a friend, right?
Yeah, I played some Bust a Move with a stranger who was a little unusual, but it was a fun game.
You seemed like he was pretty into you.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you be?
Oh, well, that hair, it just entices everybody. What the funniest part too, but Dustin came because he had left or he had the day off or something, but he was nice enough to come back by the store and say hi and chit chat with us for a little while. And we went through a lot of stuff there, but what always cracks me up is what were people saying to you about your looks?
Oh yeah, everyone that had heard the show just they did not picture all of this when they looked at me. The first thing they would say is just, you don't look anything like I thought you'd look like.
Which is funny. I'm like, what? I don't, I guess knowing you, I can't imagine how I would imagine you without, just by your voice. So, although I did see, because, what was it? Your wife posted some picture on Facebook, and it was like an old picture of you two. together when you didn't have like really long hair. And I was like, wow, he looks really young in that picture.
Yeah. When I cut things off, I lose like 10 years.
Wow, there you go. So is that your plan?
Yeah.
Hit 40 and then cut it off and go back to 30?
Something like that.
I had that plan. Things just start falling out. Things just start falling out on their own. Don't worry.
I'm doing all right so far. Nothing's fallen out yet.
I remember people used to always tell me, like, oh, you look so young. And you know what they say now? No one says that.
Immediately stopped?
Yes. There became a point in time where no one said that anymore.
Now they're like, oh, are you okay?
You look great, Chris. Yeah. Well, now, because every place I work, everybody knows, like, my story, like my transplant story, because you can't, you just go with it, right?
Yeah.
So now everybody just like, everybody asks me all the time, like, are you feeling okay? And I'm like, it's been 6 years. I'm okay. I don't say that, but I'm like, yeah, I feel great. And they're like, you look good, which basically means you don't look sick.
The pity compliment.
Kind of. Like, oh, thank you. No, I love my coworkers. They're all like a bunch of people. I think they just don't know what to say, which is, what do you say? I'm glad you're not dead, I think is what they mean. Which I appreciate that. I'm glad I'm not dead, too.
Yeah, but no, you kept up with us the whole time.
I did. I'm not that crazy old or creepy or anything. So we did that. We played some Darkstalkers. I think I did pretty well. Held my own pretty well. I kind of expected, I'll be honest with you, I kind of expected you to be whooping my butt on some fighting games, and I feel like I did pretty well.
You did, especially Street Fighter. You did fantastic.
I think I did pretty well there, and
I've told you guys like a million times. I don't think people believe me. I am not that good at video games like right off the bat. I am just persistent. So I will play the same game a million times until I get good, but it takes a while.
You are pretty good at NES games.
It still takes a while. Like right when I start playing, it's a mess, and then I got to learn the mechanics, learn how the things move, learn how the characters spawn, and then I can do better.
I understand. I have some of that same sort of persistence when it comes to like the Dark Souls, Bloodborne sort of things. I'm the kind of person that's okay with beating my head against a wall 50 times until it works.
Exactly.
Persistence pays off. And I'm trying to think after that, did we just come back home and rest? Because you bought a few things there, I think, too, right?
I think we looked at you took me to like some comic stores too, and we didn't grab much, but we looked around, had a laugh. The one place, it was like a guy's storage locker almost with like some tables in the back. Like it was weird.
It was that comic book shop, right?
Yeah, and like literally there's piles of comics like 5 feet high everywhere, and that's how all the stock was like put out. Yeah,
we walk into the place, and not even shelves, just stuff stacked on tables like boxes.
Yeah.
And just like these weird looks, like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. You're not a normal.
You're not a regular. What do you just leave? I think what it was is like some guy was like, basically, I'm retired. I just want something to do.
Yeah. He seemed kind of annoyed with the customers that were in there, though. Like, there was a couple young kids playing Magic in the back, and they were coming up to ask him questions, and he was just kind of, leave me alone, man. Back here, like, it's doing something on the computer.
I'm surfing some porn back here, guys. Leave me alone. It's something to do. Playing solitaire. You're disrupting my concentration.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, we did. We went to that other weird little comic store or whatever it was. But I don't think there was you bought some games there.
A couple things there. Yeah, they had
some boxed NES or Super Nintendo, right?
They had really cheap CIB games. Yeah, I grabbed like Timon and Pumbaa for Super Nintendo. Mia Hamm's Soccer on the N64. Not exciting, but I never see the box for that one. And a couple of GBA games. I think River City Ransom and F-Zero both. F-Zero was sealed for like $5. I was like, sure, heck yeah.
And I think the Game Exchange in Muncie I think it was Dustin went back and grabbed like a box full of like weirdo just boxes.
Oh, I grabbed a bunch of stuff in
like
his store.
Flip out box, right?
Yeah, I got a flip out for the Jaguar, just the box of manual. And grabbed a bunch of other Saturn and PS2 stuff from him too.
Yeah. Because what was do you want to tell everybody what your grand idea was that you were going to try to pull off on this whole trip?
Yeah, Bill's friend Chris, who was helping out with the expo, had a few months back got a copy of Magical Chase. So I brought enough money to make him a decent offer on it. And the day before I flew out, Bill said it's a no-go. Don't expect to get a Magical Chase, so I used that money on a lot of other things instead.
You did. You came home with a lot of goodies. You want to tell everybody about the money exchange debacle?
If you're ever going to the States, switch your money at the airport. Don't think you can do it at a bank, because the banks don't want your weird Canadian money. None of them. No bank, no matter how big or small, wants anything to do with it.
Well, that was the thing. Because we went into like the first bank, wasn't it? And they're like,
your bank. And
my bank.
Yeah, they were like, there's like a 5-day hold. Like, we're going to verify it. It's like money and then give you the exchange on it. And they would only deposit it into an account, I think, too. So I couldn't do it. You would have had to do it and then withdraw it kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm like, what do you mean? It's money, right? I mean, unless you think the Canadian government's going to go under tomorrow. It's not like Costa Rica. No, it's Canada.
It's like, yeah, she said they had to like mail it away to get it verified. Like, it's not like they had to wait for a check to clear or anything. It was cash.
Yeah, so we decided then, like, okay, there's this other bank down the street. We'll go try it. And they would exchange, right?
But same thing, yeah, needed an account, which neither of us had. Your mom was kind enough to come down with us, and then the exchange rate was worse than it was the day before, so I asked to hold on to it and go back to the airport, and it was awful.
And then we did go back to the airport the next day just to find out what?
The exchange rate was that bad.
Because it had gone from, what was it when you left?
It was like 75 cents to the dollar to like 69 cents to the dollar, like overnight.
Yeah, like in a day, it changed that rapidly.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. I'm like, you can do that? But yeah, gee, many Christmas. That was, yeah, listen to Krabby if you're coming to the States and you're Canadian.
Just use the airport. Easy.
Just go to your bank in Canada or something. Don't do it here.
Yeah.
They can look at you like, this is America. Well, we don't want your funny money. But seriously, like, we would go on all these banks and they just look like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, they weren't even sympathetic towards it. They were just like, no, why would we do that?
Yeah, you're like, it's because you're a bank. You handle money. That's your job, right?
Yeah.
So we learned an important lesson there. And I don't know. I'm going to guess, though, if I went to Canada, I would have no problem.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. Like, we have people, even this far from the border where I live, come back from a trip, and they'll have some, like, $10 bills US they'll use in the store. I've never, ever had a problem taking them to the bank and just depositing them.
Well, it's the same story. I mean, even, like, when we went to Europe, I could take American money, like, all sorts of places and get euro. No problem.
Yeah.
I mean, just random, like, I'll just go in here real quick and do an exchange. Yeah, just really bizarre. That's America for you, though. We don't like foreigners. Go away.
I was trying to come in.
I know, that was the problem. We don't like your foreigners. Let's build a wall.
I was coming to steal some jobs, but they wouldn't take my money, so I had to leave.
You're taking our jobs. You're trying to sully our minds with those liberal politics of yours.
Hey, we're liberal finally.
I heard that. Congratulations on making the right pick.
Thank you.
Anyway,
I found it hilarious actually to go back to that for one sec. I was watching the what's his name, John Oliver.
Oh yeah.
And the day before the Canadian election, his whole show was just about do not vote for the Canadian Conservative government. It was hilarious.
I did see a clip of that actually because it was basically like,
his whole show is just vote for anybody except Stephen Harper, and then he had like Mike Myers come out in a Mountie uniform on a snowblower saying the same thing.
I saw that. Yeah, because what was it? You guys have a law that if you're not from that country, you can't say anything about the election?
Yeah, I didn't even know about that either. That was weird.
Anyway, the listeners now are totally lost.
He had like a 20-minute segment on it, though. It was hilarious.
It was funny. Go back and watch it if you've not seen that. But I think that was kind of the end of day one, right? We kind of wrapped it up, and we went back, and was that the night we played Mega Man 10?
No. That was
the next night.
Holy Diver that night.
Holy Diver!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was fun.
I wasn't messing around with you when I told you that game was hard, was I?
We kept making progress. If it wasn't the middle of the night, we probably would have played a little more.
Oh man, that game is so... So are you going to get it now? Are you going to track a copy down?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We played Samurai Pizza Cats first, which I also thought I was going to really enjoy.
Yeah, and you didn't like that one very much.
No, not as much as I thought I was going to. So I don't know if I'll hunt for that one as vigorously. But yeah, I definitely need a copy of Holy Diver. That was a ton of fun.
I hate to break it to you. If you didn't have the amount of weird nostalgia you have, TMNT on NES sucks. So I hate to break that to you. If it didn't have the TMNT license on it, you would be like, oh, this game is crappy.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
But it does, so it doesn't.
I know, but see, that's why you were thinking like Samurai Pizza Cats. You're like, oh, I love this license. I'll love this game.
No, not... Well, there was a little bit of that, but it was also... I watched some gameplay videos, and it looked fun. It looked like an action platformer, which I wanted, but it was so slow and not as action-y as I imagined.
Yeah. As opposed to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES, which is action-packed fast. And your guys don't jump like they're on the moon at all.
There was one version of that game it was for the Commodore or the Spectrum or something. And there's one part, because they had to stretch the aspect ratio to fit on the computer monitor, where you literally cannot make a jump. So the game is broken like halfway through. You just can't jump as far as you need to progress, and you can't beat the game.
It's all right. Most people probably never got that far anyway, right?
Yeah, it was after the dam part, I think.
I don't think the dam is that bad, but
it's not.
It's frustrating. I will give you that.
Nah. Technodrome is frustrating.
Says the man with the world record.
The dam is fine.
99 scrolls. That's all I can say. That's the only way I ever got through that game.
You don't need no scrolls. You just need Donatello.
99 scrolls. Okay, so day 2, we got up and we're going to run the Indianapolis gamut, right?
Yep.
So we got up, we had some breakfast. We got some sleep, though.
We did.
We did a little rest. And we started hitting some stores in Indianapolis. Mostly we hit a lot of disc replays. Yeah. And we hit a couple exchanges, right?
And I made you drive to the airport so we could exchange my money.
That's true. We did that.
Ate up some time.
That was a thing.
Met your buddy for lunch.
Yes, we met my friend Brendan for lunch, and we had some Japanese.
Which apparently didn't sit well with me, even though it tasted fantastic.
I don't think it wasn't the food, because I ate the same food. But not too long after that meal.
An emergency stop.
I'm driving, and all of a sudden, Gravey's like, is there a restroom? Like, guy, I really need you to pull over. I thought you were going to run into the bathroom.
Oh, it was a close one. We almost had to go to the pants store afterwards.
And we had the rental at that point in time, so I wouldn't want you to have ruined it.
It's all right. It was on my visa. They would have just charged it.
But we wouldn't have wanted to drove it all the way.
That's true.
That would have been pretty gross. But we did, disc replay, which always is buy 5, get 1 free.
Yeah.
And I think you bought some random stuff.
Bought 5, and then I bought the Mega Man pillow there.
Oh, that's right, the Mega Man pillow.
Yeah.
Which Bill had informed us that we had to bring a pillow because he didn't have enough.
Yeah.
And so, was that the reason, or you just said, I love that pillow?
No, I loved that pillow. It was like the picture from the Mega Man Powered Up, where they like remade it for the kind of chibi style for the PSP.
Yeah.
It had that picture like right across this little like corner pillow for a couch. So I just thought it would go really good in the game room.
And that reminds me, you also bought some mat at another store, right?
Yeah, that was the day before. I bought a play mat for like It's for that universal card system that Capcom puts out, but I use it for like Magic cards and Weiss Schwartz and Pokemon and all sorts of stuff.
Now, explain to me again why you need a mat.
You don't need one.
Okay.
It's basically a fashion accessory you bring along. People put them down to protect your cards from the table, like if someone spilled something or whatever. But most people play with their cards in sleeves anyway, so you're really just protecting your sleeves from the table. So they're not 100% necessary, but most people that play a lot of Magic or Pokemon or something have their own mat.
It's gamer swag, right?
Yeah, exactly. It'd be the NES equivalent of having your favorite controller with you all the time because it had some kind of cool faceplate or something on it.
Okay, all right. So just like I like to play with the Joy Card.
Yeah.
So I get it. And we then also went to the exchange, which I'd kind of warned you was pretty bad price, but you still managed to pull a few things out of there, right?
Which store was that? Refresh me.
That was the one that had like all the albums and comics.
Oh, yeah. I literally, like, on my trip, I said, there's one MVS game this guy wants me to grab. King of Fighters 02. And Chris is like, you'll never find the specific MVS game. I'm looking for Kingsfield. I'm going to find Kingsfield everywhere. The first store we walked into there, they had King of Fighters 02 sitting in a cabinet for like $30.
Seriously.
Done.
I know. I was like, you got to be. And how many Kingsfields did we find?
The first one? We found one.
One of the first one. We didn't find any of the others on the whole trip.
Oh, no, I got the PS2 one for you as well.
At the show, but not on the trip.
Not on the trip, that's right. Yeah, we checked every store for Bloodborne and Kingsfield to much dismay.
Yeah, and we'll get into that too, but oh my gosh, yeah.
No.
You had a lot of luck.
I grabbed a bunch of PS2 games that I was really pumped about too, and I was really excited to find a gray Legend of Zelda for the NES. And I was very adamant I needed to buy this, and Chris warned me several times.
Yeah.
That's a bad price. We'll find those everywhere. I said, nope, we'll never find another one of these again. I'm buying this one. Bought it. And sure enough, I saw at least 4 more over that trip, and I had bought the most expensive one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and when you were flipping out about that, I'm like, seriously? This? I'm like, I see this all the time. What's the big deal?
I never have seen one in Canada, and it's not often I get to get new NES games anymore, especially licensed ones that I don't have. So I'm still happy I paid the price. I got it here. It's in the collection. It was the last major variant I need. My licensed collection is officially complete.
So I think what we can say is I helped you find the last NES game you needed.
You did both of the last NES games I needed. You were involved with.
Yes. So way to go, me.
Way to go,
now,
you.
You just have to help me find the last one I'm looking for.
I sent a Flintstones your way. I did my part.
Yeah,
I'll still help if I can, but
One more. We've got one more to track down. And then we went to meet John at the play, whatever that was called, right?
What was that
something
called?
or other?
All right,
E-Bash.
E-Bash, yeah.
Which was not at all kind of what I thought it would be.
It was kind of neat, though. I had a good time.
It wasn't too bad.
It was a bit of a mess trying to get the game going, but once we got that figured out, we made it work.
Yeah, it's like a place where they rent time on machines. And they have like computers and they have consoles and we went there specifically looking for an arcade game, but they said they didn't have it anymore, which really sucked.
Yeah. And then we said we wanted to play at Trials Fusions, to which they said, sure. And then it was like, 3.5 hours to install it or something.
Yeah, it still hadn't, whatever they were doing, it had not updated and installed before we left. And we were there for, like an hour and a half?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was bad. So we ended up playing IDARB, though, right?
Which I don't think any of us but you have ever heard of before.
Yeah, I was surprised that you guys had never, well, maybe not John because he doesn't have an Xbox, but I was surprised you had never even heard of IDARB.
It was surprisingly fun.
And you were really blowing it up. You were the best one by far.
I don't know. It wasn't a hard game. I don't know why you guys were making it so hard.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I could just say because I suck.
But... Jump, shoot.
I know, but like every time I would get the ball, like someone would hit it and take it away from me. Like, oh, what? Just every time.
You're supposed to move out of the way.
I guess I was not that good.
It was fun though. It was really fun. Yeah, the last game we played, because I had won, we kept switching partners off because there were 4 of us there. I won every single match we played with every single partner. So the last game we did, all 3 of them played against me, and I still beat them.
It was bad. It was bad because it was my buddy John and, well, my other friend John, and me, and yeah, we all really just kind of sucked. And Krabby's just running away with the game over and over again. But for those who haven't played IDARB, it's just like this. I found out it's actually up to 8 players, so 4-on-4 is as high as you can go.
Oh, wow.
And you can do it just all local. But it's just some goofball little 8-bit looking sports game, but it's just lots of fun, right?
It was lots of fun. And the best part was every time you scored a goal, they would have a movie quote that had no sense to what was happening on screen. They would just quote a line from a famous movie, and it was hilarious sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm trying to think of a few of them. It was like...
They did the one from 7 that you said earlier.
Oh, yeah. What's in the box? Yeah. What's in the box? What was it? The one, there was a Forrest Gump one, right? Like, Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs or something. Like or you got new legs, whatever it was. Yeah, just really ridiculously random quotes. But it was just fun. I think that's the game you can only really play local multiplayer and have a good time with it. But Absolutely. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you have like a bunch of people together, IDARB, give it a shot. If we would have had more controllers over at Bill's, I would have suggested we play that over there as well. And then that was the end of that night, right? We came back. We decided to get some rest because we were going to be driving out the next day, right? Yep. Oh, that's then Mega Man 10.
That was the Mega Man 10 night, yeah.
Because I was like, because I lament, of course, it's downloadable. Krabby doesn't play downloadable games or buy them. And I said, while you're here, you got to play Mega Man 10 because you've never played it before, right?
Yep. And yeah, I started playing. You went up to get your daughters ready for bed. And I was able to get through a few of the Master Robots. And then when you came down, we burned through the rest of the game.
Yeah, you really cleaned house. You did a really good job. I was kind of surprised. I kind of thought, well, maybe he'll struggle with it a little bit, but...
It wasn't as hard as 9 was.
Yeah, 9 is kind of a nightmare, isn't it?
I play a lot of Mega Man still. Like, that's my jam. I do all right at those ones, better than most other games.
So that was kind of the end of that evening, and then, yeah, we were getting up early the next morning, right?
Yeah. We were meant to get up early.
Because we figured it's a 12-hour drive, so we thought, well, we'll split it into 2. We'll have plenty of time so that way we can stop and shop on the way. And, well, we decided to maybe get some more sleep the first day.
And then after sleeping, we stopped at so many stores. We made just the worst time possible.
Yeah, because I don't think we even made it halfway, did we?
Not, like, at a reasonable hour.
Oh, wait, no, yeah, the first day we drove until crazy late at night, right?
Because we had made such bad time, we tried to go as late as we could.
Yeah, because we didn't get started very early, and we stopped at a lot of stores on the way, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think of all the ones that I wouldn't even know the names of them if I saw them again. But, I mean, they were an interesting mix.
One, we specifically went to the one you had the gift card at.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I remember the name of it at all.
Warp Zone?
Warp Zone. Yeah, that's right. It was in...
And that was a really cool store.
Columbus, I think?
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio?
It was small, but the stuff they had was so unique and rare. Like, they had a ton of really hard-to-find stuff and so many imports.
Lots of imports.
Yeah, it was a really neat store.
Yeah, and I was on a budget on the trip, so I was really tempted because they had a lot of PC Engine games.
Yeah.
But I had decided, starting out, like, I only have a little budget, so I either want a Bloodborne Collector's Edition or I want the Kingsfield games, and that's it. That's all I'm looking for. And I'm glad I decided on that because it basically meant I didn't spend hardly any money.
Yeah.
We just didn't find
that
hardly
store.
anything.
I ended up picking up Last Blade 2 for the Dreamcast, which I've been after for a while.
Yeah, which I was surprised.
And he had a couple Turbo 16 games I needed too. I think that's where I grabbed Kadash and Double Dungeons.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because every time we'd go into places and you'd ask for TurboGrafx games, and either they'd be like, "No, I'm sorry," or some people would like halfway look at you like, "What?"
Yeah.
But we stopped there. I'm trying to think, was the video game store the first day or the second day?
That was the second day. That was outside of Bill's in Scranton.
Oh, Scranton, Pennsylvania, right? But we hit a lot of stores,
And
mostly
then,
in Ohio.
Yeah.
We hit some more like outside around Cleveland. And then we got into Pennsylvania, and that's when it started getting dark, and we were just driving.
And we needed to stay awake.
So Krabby comes up with a game, right? So what was it? Because after Krabby and I know each other, and we talk here, but, it was fun to see each other in person. But we'd spend a lot of time together, so you kind of run out of stuff, and it's getting late, right?
And we're both getting tired, so we need to stay alert. So trying to think of some mind games we can play.
Yeah.
So we decided to play this game where one person names a video game. We started with the NES, and whatever game you say, whatever letter that ends with, the next guy has to pick a game that starts with that letter, and then so on, back and forth. And we did that for 30, 40 minutes with the NES. And we ran
Probably.
out.
Yeah.
And then Chris is like, why don't we just open it up to just video games in general?
Yeah.
And 3 hours later, 2 a.m, it's like, we should pull over and go to bed and stop this stupid game.
Yeah, if you believe it, we went 3 hours without dropping
breaking
the ball.
it. Yeah.
We
were struggling for E's and Y's near the end, but we were still pulling them out of their butt last second.
Yeah, some of the vowel ones get really rough because everything ends in E or S. Yeah, or even ends after a while. We're starting to get, and D's, we're like, oh, I don't know. And then we got to the point where it's you couldn't, we had to put another rule in where you couldn't say one where there was no other one after it, right?
You had to be able to think of one so you couldn't end the game too quickly.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to put one out there that you knew there was no answer to. So you had to know there was an answer to it. So it wasn't impossible. You couldn't force somebody to lose. So that really limited us after a while too, because I can't name one that starts with that letter, but you can't say it because it ends with a letter that you can't follow up with.
Yeah.
But eventually you'd get one in your head. You're like, oh, I've got it. So next time it comes around, and then we'd have to try to hint each other through it. But we did it.
It was fun.
We did it. It was amazing. And we got somewhere lost in some backwoods area with running water.
Yeah, we couldn't see it, but we could hear it.
But we had to get out and relieve ourselves. And it was cold. But and then we decided to find a hotel, and we found somewhere in close to middle of Pennsylvania, right?
Found a smelly hotel.
Oh yeah. Well, there was two of them. There's a Holiday Inn Express, and then there was this other crap hotel. And I said, well, what do you want to do, crap? Because I knew Holiday Inn Express was going to be more expensive, but it was going to be nicer. And this other one looks probably not going to be so hot, but probably cheaper. And Crab was like, I don't care. Let's go to the cheaper place. And yeah, the room stunk. I don't even know what that smell was.
Luckily, we were tired enough. We fell asleep quickly, so I didn't have to worry about it. And then in the morning, you were just used to the smell, so...
Yeah, your nose just kind of gets accustomed to it after a while.
Yeah.
And that's all we did was just literally what we got up. We freshened up a little bit, not very long, and then just got back on the road. So besides sleeping and showering, we didn't really do anything else there anyway.
Yeah. We stopped for breakfast somewhere nearby.
Yeah, didn't we
pancake place?
Yeah, something like a Waffle House or something. It wasn't a Waffle House, but something like it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Perkins. We stopped at a Perkins.
Yes.
I know the people listening to this boy, this is so exciting.
I've never been to a Perkins. It was very exciting.
It was pretty good. We ate really good breakfast most of the time when we were either at my house or going. We always enjoy a pretty
Bacon
good
every
breakfast.
day.
Yeah, it's, put on some pounds, but, you just don't weigh yourself and you never know.
Yep.
I told Grabby this getting started. I said, I've already resigned myself to the fact that during this week, I'm going to eat like crap and drink pop all the time, and I just don't care, right? I'm just going to let it go. Who cares? So I was in it. I was making it happen.
Yep.
And you're used to eating like crap now, right?
Unfortunately, yeah. Had a really bad diet the last year, so I figured, what the hell. I've been eating better since I've been back. Much, much better. Yes.
You probably needed to, because you could probably, your blood was turned to sludge after a while or something.
It was that Canadian maple syrup blood.
You guys probably do bleed brown, don't you? But then we said, well, because then we had driven so far, we didn't really have that much longer to go, right?
Yeah, we were going to be at Bill's way too early, so we had to find game stores to slow us down.
Yeah, and one of the ones we stopped at was the video game store in Scranton,
and end all of video game
Pennsylvania.
Stores.
You want to tell people what the video game store was like?
It was like the rest of Scranton. Awkward and old looking. It was like that comic shop we were just joking about, but with video games and movies stacked as tall as a person everywhere you could see in no particular order.
Yeah. And really just odd guy running the place.
Yeah,
tell him about your little story.
See him nice enough, but didn't really have any social skills. And I was grabbing 2 games that came to like $21. And I was like, would you take a 20? $1. And he just looked like I come in with like a dead body with me or something, like just frozen in fear staring at me with no comment for like 30 seconds. And then he started talking about how he just got reamed out for giving someone a deal, and he's terrified his boss was going to fire him, and he was really upset because he knows how much money his boss is making, and he's lying to him about it. And it was really interesting.
Yeah, the guy was kind of an interesting fella. Looked like his mom had probably been still cutting his hair. I felt for him. I felt for him a little bit.
So I gave him the $1.
Yeah. I'm glad you did. I would have gave him $1 just to make him feel better. But I think you still bought. Yeah, you bought a couple games there, and then was it the first day or second day we found Vax and Vax and Video, wasn't it?
I think that was second day too. That was a fun, weird. Yeah, we went. I forget which town that was even in. But we pulled in. We went to this other video game store because I Googled video game store and it said Vax and Vids, and I was like, that sounds dumb. We'll go to this other one.
Yeah, and we went to this other one, which was actually pretty good, right?
Yeah, I grabbed a whole bunch of stuff there.
Yeah, because you got your laser discs at that other place.
I did. I got my Brad Pitt laser discs.
And we're browsing through laser discs, and what do I see there? I was like, oh, there's Blade Runner. I bet Bill would love this. And then what'd you say?
I said, I'm positive he has that already.
I said, oh, really? Are you sure? Yeah, no, he's got that. Okay. Bill didn't have that one.
He didn't have that. And he specifically, when we told him we stopped and got laser discs, he's like, wow, I'd really love to get this Blade Runner laser disc. Like, frick, it was like $3 or something, too.
I know. We should have bought it.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, that was a big store, and they had a lot of stuff. Yeah. But we asked him, we said, do you have any other recommendations around here? We got some time to kill. And he said,
check out Vax and Vids.
Vax and Videos. And when we say Vax, it's like VACS, like vacuums.
Yep.
And so, okay, so we go to Vax and Vids. And what was Vax and Vids like?
When you walk in, the front half is like a pawn shop that deals in furniture. A little further in, they got some glass cases with some games.
Yeah.
We looked around. To the right, you got some vacuum parts. To the back, you got some more games. And then they got this door off to the side, which leads to a whole other huge area, which is just like where you can take your kid for his birthday party and just play arcade games. The whole back's just full of arcade stuff.
Yeah, they had all these arcade machines in the back. But that's what I was telling. We were talking. I'm like, why don't they have games somewhere in their title? Because I didn't see any videos.
And when we were leaving, they even had like one of those buses with game things on it where you drive around and just pull up to your kid's house, like, and pick him up to play games with his friends. And it said Vax and Vids on it. It didn't say anything about video games again.
I know, I didn't understand that at all. And I mean, probably the vacuum section was just this tiny corner, and everything else was video games.
Yeah, it was like 1/10 of the store. Like, it was insignificant.
Yeah, and everything else was huge. But the weird part to me about that place was they had like a couple of Vectrex, which I was surprised, like 2 of them sitting there. Oh, they wanted way too much for them. And then they had like that console wall.
That you couldn't buy?
Yeah, they had all these consoles out with prices on them, and you couldn't buy them. They were just like for display or something.
They had like was it a 3DO with the super good price on it?
Like $45 or something.
Yeah, and
for
so
a
Chris
3DO.
like, I will get that 3DO for $45. And then this other guy heard us talking about it, and he's like, they don't actually have that. We went and asked about it.
And I'm like, what? Yeah, they do. It's right there. I'm like, I'm looking at it.
It's their display ones that they wouldn't sell.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, come on. What? I didn't make any sense. But we picked up a few things. I got, that was probably another, we probably saw about the 20th gray Zelda cart there, I think.
Yeah.
I got a couple Next Generation old mags. You got that Bayonetta book, right?
Yeah, you found me that hardcover Bayonetta 2 strategy guide.
Yeah, it was like $5
awesome
or something.
Yeah.
Really cheap. And I think you bought some other games there too, right?
Yeah. At this point, I'm losing track. I was really looking for Gungrave on the PS2, and I found both of them during the trip, so I was really pumped about that. And I think at the last place, I picked up the what was it? 32X games.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I didn't have any in my collection yet, so now I have 5 after that trip.
So, just to explain a little bit, what was the car? It was a Ford, what was it?
Flex?
Do you remember? Ford Flex. So the back of it is like a hatchback with fold-down seats. We had the seats folded down for the back row, and besides our suitcases, which didn't take up very much room, we basically just had boxes of games that Krabby had bought. Boxes! I mean, like, big boxes. And we would cover them up with a blanket so no one would see and like try to steal them or something. But you had bought a lot by this point, I think.
I guess some good stuff. Oh, at that big place before Vax and Vids, I got that really nice complete in box Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine right as we were leaving. For the 64.
Oh, yeah, that 64 game.
Really, really nice.
Yeah, because that one was like, wow, that thing looks like brand new. But didn't they get the games like behind the counter or something, didn't they?
Yeah, he was just about to put them out. He was like pricing them up and had them all in like nice baggies and stuff.
Yeah, because he talked about this guy had just brought them in from like his closet or something. And literally they were just like all the big titles like Smash Brothers and Mario Kart and all these. And they looked new.
Yeah, they were nice.
Yeah, every one of them looked like brand new. So they were fantastic. But you've already got a bunch of them, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think from that point, we pretty much headed on in, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't find much after Scranton there. We just made our way up to Bill's dad's place.
Right, but didn't we have like a little time to kill before that? Because we went to Savers.
We went to Savers, and then we went to
Kohl's then, didn't we?
Yeah, to get you a belt. I couldn't remember what that was called.
We went to Kohl's to get a belt. But we skipped the one place over by Bill's. Remember we went in that one, the GameStop.
Yeah, and they pointed us in the completely wrong direction to go to the other store.
We had GPS this one store, and we could not find it. It was not where GPS said it was. And so we saw a GameStop, we went in, this guy's like, oh yeah, it's over this way, and points, and like, in totally the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But we found that place, and that had you talked to them a lot because they had a bunch of like magic cards and stuff, right?
Yeah, I was looking for some cards for a deck that I've been working on, and she thought she had them, so we dug through a whole bunch of boxes of cards and ended up not finding any of them.
Yeah, that was probably the most boring store for me because it didn't have a lot of games. I was just mostly staring off into space.
I grabbed the one, the like Funimation game for the Super Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, yeah, it was a bust. It was a cool store to check out for me, though. I got some ideas for things I wanted to do in our place when I got back home.
Yeah. I think that's from a couple different stores. You kind of had some ideas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they had these really cool tables at that one for like War Machine Warhammer players. So I've been talking to them about trying to build some up here now.
Oh, okay. There we go. But yeah, for some reason, they were worried about a hurricane coming into Connecticut. And for some reason, which I don't understand at all, there was this ridiculously huge line at Kohl's, and nobody else could understand it either.
They just didn't have any staff on. They had like 20
one cashier.
registers, and like 2 of them were open.
Yeah, and so it was like a half an hour line to get anything. I just needed a belt because I'd forgotten to bring a belt. So we made friends with some of the people on the line.
Nice older couple right in front of us.
We did. We joked around for a while. Met some nice people from Connecticut. And then we went to Bill's house, and we got there before Bill, right?
Yeah, so we were just waiting in the car for him, and his dad wandered out and invited us in. Super friendly. I'm like,
this is probably a little creepy, right? There's 2 guys just sitting in a car right in my driveway. So yeah, no, Bill's dad comes out. That's double L Bill. And invites us in. Damn, nicest guy. And even Jim showed us down to the basement where Bill had a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
And then Bill came and we got to play some Play Choice, right?
That was fun.
We did. You beat Contra. I helped.
I also got to embarrass you at Super Mario Bros.
You didn't get to embarrass me because I was robbed. You want to tell everybody why I was robbed? Because I want everybody else to...
Because he ran headfirst into Hammer Brother.
No. I want you to explain
that's exactly what happened.
Because no one will believe me, but you watched it happen.
So we're on level 8-3.
Yeah.
Near the end when there's the last 2 Hammer Brothers and then the goal line.
Yes.
And there's a turtle shell. And so he hits the turtle once, hits it a second time, so it's shooting towards the Hammer Brothers.
Yeah.
And he's just running after it like full tilt.
Which you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Normally it hits the Hammer Brother, dies, you keep going, hits the other Hammer Brother, dies, and then you just gotta watch out for the end. It doesn't come back at you.
Yeah.
And the first one, the turtle, like, you know how sometimes when you're on the edge of the screen, the shell will clip through the bad guy because they haven't fully come in yet? That kind of happened, except for the Hammer Brother was well into the screen. No. The turtle still went straight through him. He wasn't jumping or landing or anything.
Straight through him.
So obviously Chris didn't expect that to happen and ran right into him like full tilt without even trying to dodge him because he assumed the turtle would have taken care of him.
And I was so happy both of you were watching because I just turned around and I had this look on my face like, you saw that, right?
This look of disbelief.
Yeah, like total horror. Like, you saw that. I'm not making that up. That happened. Yeah, I was so robbed. It was not even funny. But I still beat the game, so I felt good about myself. I just got robbed.
Beat the game second.
Well, look, hey, I got cheated, so I don't feel too bad.
I was Luigi. I'm supposed to be the game second.
Whatever. Well, obviously, Luigi knows how to kick turtle shells. I don't know. But we had a lot of fun, because that's when some of the other guys started showing up, right?
Yeah. Bill showed up.
Yeah.
Who else showed up?
That was
just Bill at that point. We had to go pick up the other guys later on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because we had to go and do some pickups.
Bill showed up. We talked about the collection, played a little Punch-Out. He gave me some really bad advice on a couple of the bosses there. And we just chatted and made plans for the next day because we had to go pick up Eric and Floyd at the airport.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because we came back to the house for more games later. Okay, so yeah, we went back, and Bill's wife and
his kids
we're staying over at his dad's house, so we had kind of free reign of the house. So we went back, and we were waiting for Or was it that was just that night? That was it, right? We went to bed.
We went to Bill's. We played some You Don't Know Jack stuff.
Yes, that's right.
And went to bed until we had to head out to the airport the next day.
Right. So we played we played some Quiplash and some Fibbage.
And You Don't Know Jack.
And You Don't Know Jack. And yeah, we had a busy day the next day because that's when everybody else was showing up. Because we were there, that was Thursday, and everybody else was coming in on Friday because the show was on Saturday. So it was nice being there first. That was definitely the right plan because we got pick of the bedding.
Oh yeah, everyone else was taking teddy bears and couches and recliners.
Everybody else was a little rougher, but Krabby and I got the guest room, whatever. So we both got actual bedding to sleep on, whereas nobody else did. So I got some good sleep that night.
It's comfortable.
And then we had to get up because Bill had to work a half day.
Yeah, and we offered to go to LaGuardia Airport in New York because Bill's dad was originally going to do it. And we said, no, you don't need to do that. We'll do that. And kind of wish we would have let him do that. Yeah. It was interesting.
Wait till I talk about the story of me returning from dropping you off on the way home.
I don't think I've even heard
You haven't heard about that yet.
Ugh.
But anyway.
I get to drive in New York, and as someone who lives in a city with around 80,000 people, it was a little stressful. I'm not used to driving in big cities, and it was... There's a few people honking at me from time to time, but we made it there, and it was such a big airport that we were getting lost, and we just finally said, we're going to pull over right here. Here's a spot to park. We're going to start our quest to find these two people from this point. Doesn't matter where they're coming in.
And because LaGuardia is big. I mean, it has whole different pieces to it.
Yeah, right? There's like 4 different lots you can park in depending on who you're picking up, what airline they're coming in on. And we had no idea where to find Eric, how we were going to find Eric. We just got a picture texted to us from Bill, so we kind of know who to look for.
Yeah, and this huge airport, we had no clue even where to start looking for him. We're that's what I was telling you, I'm like, we're so screwed.
Yeah, we're in Terminal B. Let's start here. We walked in, and all of 5 seconds we were in there, we see this guy smiling right at us, holding a copy of Silent Service. Says, hey, guys. So
I know.
We got super lucky there.
I know. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. He's, literally right inside the doors. Like, you're just waiting for us the whole time.
And then we knew which flight was coming in on, so we took a way longer trek than it should have taken to get there from some bad directions from like 3 different employees there.
Yeah, nobody had figured it out quite right, but eventually we got there, and we still beat Floyd, so that was fine, right?
Just by a minute or two, yeah. We didn't have to wait long at all.
So we picked up Eric and Floyd, and, Eric, he'd come from Germany, but he had not just flown in. He had been in New York for a few days already, being a tourist, right?
Yeah, went to a baseball game and Nintendo World Store and a few other sightseeing places. And
man, I was so jealous of that backpack.
Yeah, you got it at the Nintendo store. It looked awesome.
They had a backpack that looked a lot like an NES with like all the, the stylings and everything. If they sold that online, I would buy one. It was awesome. I told Bill if he ever goes there, buy me one. I want one. But, that was it. And we got surprisingly in and out pretty quickly, I think. And we made it back, which I was kind of concerned because I thought New York driving would be kind of rough. But
you didn't even drive there.
Now, wait a minute. I drove you. I got a story, buddy. You just wait. You think you had it bad? You got no idea. All right.
I hate tolls, too. Tolls are the worst. We don't have those up here.
A lot of tolls. But anyway.
I like the first toll that we went through. That's still my favorite toll.
Where you had to... Yeah, so the first toll was like in Pennsylvania or something, wasn't it? Or New York. It was in New York.
Yeah.
So we pull up to this toll, and Krabby's like, I got the toll. But he's like counting out change and like scraping together change, like little bits of change, not like here's some quarters. you're handing me like nickels and dimes and whatever, right?
I didn't want to carry those around.
So he's piling all this change in my hand, and we pull up, and it's like this beautiful woman working at the toll booth. And I'm just thinking, like, really? I've got to be the one, because I'm driving, I got to be the one to hand the nasty, like, idiot handful of change to this beautiful lady at the toll booth. And so I'm like, here you go. I feel like the 2-year-old kid that pays for his, own snack, where he just gives like wadded up $1 bills or something. That's what I felt like.
So embarrassed. It was so funny.
Yeah, I'm like, here you go.
He's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Passing her all the coins.
I know. They're like, oh, no, it's okay. No, I'm thinking in her head, she's like, idiot. But no, that's it. Yeah. I felt good about that one. I noticed that when you paid the tolls, you never gave anybody handfuls of change.
It's because I gave it all to that one toll lady. I didn't have any more change after that.
Uh-huh. You did leave some in the vehicle, though. So
that was a tip for all your good driving.
Yeah. I got like a Canadian dollar in there somewhere, I think.
That's worth like 69 cents American.
Not now. By now, it's probably like 50 cents.
We got a new government. It's probably like $1 again.
Oh, it probably did go right up. And they're probably like, oh, you guys got rid of whatever, Mayor McCheese. Now. Okay, so we got back, and then we just had to wait for some of the other guys to come in. Because wasn't it Bill had to go get... Who did Bill go get?
Bill?
Did Bill go get Rich? No, because Russ got Rich, right?
We met all the guys at Bill's house later. I think we hung out there and Bill came home after work.
Oh, that's right, because Russ got Rich, and
they showed up at Bill's house that night.
Anthony got Adam.
Yeah.
And Anthony and them get there, and they tell us a story about how they went to Bill's old house. Oh, man. So they went to... They just had, like, Bill's old address. So they go to the house, and this was hilarious, because they pull up, and they're like, okay, well, I don't remember what there's like, oh, Bill, is this... They're, like, sending him text messages, like, is this the right place? Oh, yeah, whatever. It's like, there's an older guy there. We're in the right place, and Bill's like, oh, you're at my dad's house. Yeah, just go on. And it was just some weird stranger at Bill's old house. You're like, oh, I think we're here to see your son. And he's like, I don't have a son. So, yeah, they made a little mistake. But they got there after that.
Yeah.
And Anthony, who's Israel on the side, he's hilarious. But anyway, he tells us...
Jaws the best wieners I've ever seen.
He does. He tells the story much better than I can. But that's it. Everybody started kind of showing up in pretty rapid fashion after that. It was kind of late a little bit, right?
Yeah, but everyone was, pumped to meet everyone else, so we stayed up for quite a while.
Yeah, Bill cooked some burgers and dogs, and we all hung out, and the first order of business was, we were at Bill's house for a little bit, right? That's when we had gotten Eric and Floyd. That's when we
played Contra, and we had the Street Fighter going. And
that's before
Mario
we went
Kart,
back to Bill's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when the other guys came to Bill's house. Because I remember, Eric and Floyd were with us.
Yeah.
So at Bill's house, the first order of business was taking care of Mega Man 2, right?
No, that was later. We started playing like Guitar Hero and Rock Band first.
Was that the first thing we did?
Yeah, I think so.
I do remember we played
put
a lot.
In the Mega Man after when Rich pulled it out.
Okay, that's right. That's when Anthony and Adam showed up when we were in the middle of that one, right?
Yeah, and then Adam started helping us out.
Yeah, and I had to take care of the one boss because everybody else was a wuss. Uh-huh. Yeah, nobody else wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But we were playing round robin, so one person beats a stage, next person goes, and we plowed through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it wasn't too many hiccups. The lag was very real, though.
Yeah, we were playing on a Retron 5, and I don't think it was just the Retron, because I played on my TV with the Retron. I think Bill's TV is a little laggy, because, man, you could feel it.
Yeah.
Right? It was bad. I mean, I wouldn't say... I'm probably going to guess like a quarter of a second lag.
It was frustrating some players more than others.
Yeah, you really had to learn to like compensate for it and be doing things before you needed to do things.
Made Quick Man Stage very interesting.
Yeah, you did Quick Man Stage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely, I'm sure, had to be like inputting before you ever got to where you needed to go.
Yeah.
Which I probably know is because you did die, I think, once or twice.
Just the once, yeah. I tried to I think I overcompensated for the lag and ran right into one of the beams.
Yeah. But we all whipped that one out, yeah. And then we started in with, mostly was Fibbage and Quiplash, right?
Yeah, which lasted a lot of rounds. It was a lot of fun.
And Drawful. We played a lot of Drawful. And if you guys have never played those games, all I have to say is just the instant you play it, you'll buy it, unless you're crabby because it's a download. But you don't need controllers. Everybody just needs a phone or an iPad, and they're dead simple to play. So the game goes on the TV. You punch in some stuff on your phone. Everybody can play, and it's just we just were having the most hilarious time playing that, weren't we?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Running jokes going like constantly.
Oh, yeah. So I would just say because I had bought that before, and I'm like, you guys have to play these things. And then some other people have been picking them up. But it's, as far as like, if you guys have non-gamer friends, or even gamer friends, but you don't have a lot of controllers, you want something you guys can play as like a party game, something that you would play like an old, I don't know, like a categories kind of board game sort of thing. This is for you, right? It's hilarious, and it's a lot of fun. It's really easy. Everybody can pick it up and play. Doesn't take any work. And we had just hours and hours of fun. And yeah, we got to see Anthony's artistic skills. But that's the way, these games turn into, juvenile jokes and everything pretty quickly. But we had a really good time with it.
Yeah.
And we found out that Hitler's toilet was in New Jersey. Right?
I actually was in the bathroom or on the phone with my wife, and I missed that joke, and I just came back, and the whole rest of the night was hashtag Hitler toilet.
Oh, you missed it.
I didn't know the origin of it.
Oh! Well, one of the questions we got in Fibbage was, like, this owner, New Jersey, claims that his toilet was owned by, and then, all these different guesses for things. It was Hitler. He claims that he's got Hitler's toilet.
Okay.
So that's where that came from. I didn't realize you missed that one.
I did.
You were on the toilet, but not Hitler's toilet.
No, I think I had to call my wife at that point.
Oh,
that was my evening check-in.
There you go. But we had a ton of fun. I would like to do it again. I think I saw Anthony got the new pack that just came out, so maybe we'll have to have an online game if he wants to broadcast on Twitch, and we'll have to see if we can get some guys to play it. I'd be up for doing something like that with our listeners. If you're a listener and you would be down for playing something like that where you watch on Twitch and play on your phone, sometime let me know. I would be down for, or YouTube. I could put it on YouTube Gaming, probably. I don't know. But anyway, just hilarious. We had a really good time with that. I'm sure probably a little better in person just because everybody feeds off of it. But
oh, yeah.
But after that, we crashed out. Like, unfortunately, those guys had to kind of all sleep in the living room.
You made it work.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they made it work. I wasn't a part of it. But it seemed pretty uncomfortable. But and Russ got really comfortable with a teddy bear, from what I understand.
Too comfortable.
And then it was RetroWorld Expo Day, right?
Expo Day.
Now, we had to get up pretty early, right? Because Bill had to be there before the show started.
Yeah, Bill was up and gone with Russ before most of us were up and ready to go, I think. Yeah,
because we got up and we had time to shower and get cleaned up, and the other guys were sort of coming back to life upstairs. And we headed out in plenty of time to get there when the show opened, right? We didn't really miss anything.
No, we got there about 30 minutes before, and Bill snuck us in early, so we got to set up the booth and wander around before all the vultures got in.
And we had a really a good time. I mean, a lot of times, I don't know, that's when everybody was kind of doing their own thing. I spent a little time at our booth, but most of the time I was just out hunting. And I think you were with me a lot of that time too, right? Or I was with you, chasing you around, probably.
No, for the first bit, I was kind of going solo, and then I came and picked you up after an hour or so, and then we kind of hung around together.
Yeah, because you were picking through the tables pretty hard, and I was trying to find some stuff, but... And you did eventually found me that Kingsfield on PS2.
Yeah.
Because we were... and when we got lunch, and we're sitting there, and the guy walks by with Kingsfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been hunting
long
for it
box.
the whole day. Yeah, we've been hunting for it the whole day. But no, I mean, at the show itself, we didn't really make it to any of the other panels but our own, right?
Yeah, we just caught the last tail end, 2 or 3 minutes of the RetroWorld one, which had 20 guys at the table. Yeah,
they were really a lot of guys kind of packed in that little space, and they were just kind of doing some Q&A at the end. And we were just there because we were going to sit up for hours, right?
Yeah.
I totally forgot, though. I was kind of sad. I wanted to go see the Retro RGB guy, and I forgot all about it when we were there.
Oh, no.
I didn't go to his panel at all. I felt kind of bad because I really wanted to kind of sit in on that one. But they had a lot of vendors there, right?
Tons. It's ridiculously packed with them, yeah.
And they had some cosplay people doing their thing, right?
They had a few, yeah.
I was surprised. I thought there would be more, but
I did too. And a few of the ones we saw around didn't even compete in the contest, which I was surprised because a couple of them I think would have done very well.
Yeah, but the lady that got to judge in the Zelda costume, wow.
Yeah, she did pretty good.
She was really well done. But when she some kind of in some cosplay group or something, and that why she got to...
Yeah, she was the celebrity guest judge kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who's who in the cosplay world, but...
all I know is Jessica Negri. That's it.
Well, yeah, I know who that is. Just because, how can you not know who she is? Because of, daggone it. The guy that did No More Heroes, he did...
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yes, that's right. That's the one she did stuff for, right?
Yeah, she was the official spokesman for that one.
That's right.
But there was a guy walking around like a Reno. That was a pretty good costume.
Yeah, and he wasn't in the contest. And the guy that was in the flamethrower suit.
That was a really cool costume.
That was really good.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies working at the vendor, what she was...
Harley.
Yeah, Harley Quinn. She was dressed up like Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And there was a few kids that were into it. So there was a Wii controller kid. There was a Link.
There was a Link who started off impressing everybody and then took it too far.
Yeah, because he had the ocarina. And he was playing the ocarina.
He started playing, I think it was Saria's song. And everyone was like, oh, clap, clap, clap. And then when we stopped applauding, he was still playing. and the commenter was like, this is
playing.
the gong. Someone get the big cane out.
Yeah, he was not going to stop. And the poor guy, you could see his hands were so shaking.
Yeah.
He was so nervous. So that's probably why he was just so nervous. But he won.
He did.
But Zelda was the judge, so what do you expect?
It's nepotism.
Something like that. And then we had our panel, right?
Yeah. Which the room cleared mostly out from the RetroWare guys, but we still had a few people stick around to enjoy.
Not nearly as many, for sure. But we had a decent little crowd.
Yeah,
was in there.
Some good questions, some good audience.
Yeah, and for those that want to see our show, it's on our YouTube channel. So our panel, you can just jump right over there and catch it. I uploaded it pretty quickly. It's got a few views, but I know some of the people that listen to the show may not normally jump over to the YouTube page, so you might have missed it. So feel free to jump right over there and give it a look. I think it's somewhere around 45, 50 minutes, not too long.
You can see that I look exactly like I sound.
Yeah. Yeah, let me know what you expect Krabby to sound like versus what he does look like. I mean, I don't know why. I guess, do they expect nice Canadian guys to not have any hair or something?
I don't know.
Are you supposed to look like Floyd?
Maybe. That's an Eastern thing.
Oh, okay. I have no idea. But after that, then we just really, we just kind of relaxed for a little while. And I felt bad a little bit because I didn't man the booth very much. But
I didn't man it at all. Don't feel bad.
We were having a lot of fun. But then we had the auction.
That was a lot of fun.
The auction was, because it was kind of a smaller auction. It was after a lot of people had left, and people had to sign up in advance to bid in the auction. And they had a nice little spread of stuff that was laid out there, right?
Yeah.
What all did they have? They had...
I don't know. As soon as I saw a Turtles Tournament Fighters go for way cheaper than it needed to go for, I ran out and got myself a voting ticket.
Yeah.
I wasn't originally planning on being part of the auction.
Yeah, because, I think we had talked... I think the expectation is that things would probably go maybe a little under, because it's an auction, but, probably pretty close.
Yeah. Just because of the caliber of the items they had.
Yeah, because they had a lot of it. They had a Flintstones 2. They had
Panic Restaurant.
Had
a bunch of really rare old computer and pre-Nintendo systems.
Yeah, they had Mattel Aquarius. They had a boxed Apple IIc with monitor.
Yeah.
They had an NES TV.
Bucky O'Hare complete in box.
They did have a complete Bucky O'Hare. There was a few other games there as well. There was a Chip 'n Dale's 2 box.
Yeah.
That was there.
They had an arcade machine.
Yeah, Altered Beast arcade machine.
Beast, yeah.
And they had a specially designed, painted Zelda NES.
Yeah, that was a hot item.
Yeah, which was strange because starting off, just like you said, things started off going like crazy low, right?
Yeah, and then they got a good bidding war going on that Zelda NES.
Yeah, because starting out, like you said, like the first couple games or whatever, I was really looking around like, are you guys really going to let somebody buy it for that low? And they did. They let some of these things go, and I'm like, wow, that is really cheap for some of that stuff. And yeah, the weirdest thing that went on a weird, crazy bidding spree was this painted NES, right?
Yeah, there was like 3 guys going nuts over it.
Yeah, this huge bidding war. And don't get me wrong, it was well done. It looked very nice. But like everything else, it's like, this goes cheap here, cheap there. And these guys, it went for like $300-something, didn't it?
Yeah, like $320 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, and it's just a painted NES.
Yeah.
And it had a copy of the Zelda games in gold. But
That's right.
It was the system primarily. It was just the cartridges. $300-something that thing ended up going for. And that was the thing I just looked around like, are these people crazy? Because the things that are rare are going cheap, and this thing that anybody could make is going like through the roof. And then we got to the NES TV was kind of in the middle, right?
Yep.
And that's the thing, is the bidding starts up, and the bidding was stalling out like $150 or something, $160.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah. Couldn't let that happen.
Yeah, like nobody was hardly bidding, right? Like 1 guy, 2 guys, maybe. And I'm looking around, and I have this look on my face like, you've got to be kidding me, right? I was thinking in my head, there's no way somebody's going to walk out of this for like $160. Just no way, right? And so I look over, and then I see you bid. And I was like, oh, thank God. You know what I mean? Thank God this thing is not just going to walk out of here for a song to somebody that I don't even know.
That's his first thought. Then his second thought is, how the hell am I going to ship that to Canada?
Well, that's it, because you start bidding back and forth with this guy, and that's it. I look over to Rich and I say, I'm going to have to figure out how to ship this dang thing to Canada. And you won it.
For, decent price.
Yeah, for like a crazy, to me, I think a pretty crazy low price, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and still at that, I was so surprised that the other guy gave up. And I was about to jump out of my seat because I'm like,
You did. We can see you over there like vibrating in your seat.
I was really excited because I'm like, this is so awesome that it's going to go, to one of you guys. It's going to go to you. And I'm like, that's so fantastic because I didn't want some random stranger to get it for nothing. You know what I mean? So I was, very excited, very excited. And then there were some other things that were coming up after that Rich had asked you to bid on, right?
No, or was it Floyd to bid on, and I didn't realize that I knew he was going to bid on the Panic Restaurant, so I didn't even touch that one.
Yeah.
And then the Flintstones came up. I didn't realize he had told Floyd to bid on that one too. And so I threw a bid on that, expecting it to go low like some of the other stuff. And then I saw Floyd bid right in front of me, and Floyd couldn't see me bidding because I was sitting behind him. So I realized right away what I was doing. I was like, oh, crap. Put that down, sit on my bidding number. So I didn't raise it any higher for him. I know, because
when you did that first, I looked at Rich and I said, is he bidding against you?
It was a mistake.
I know. I mean, we know it was, but we just kind of had a laugh about it. Because really quick, we could see when it was kind of on your face that you were like, oops.
Yeah, I did not want to drive the price up for Rich at all.
I know, because it was kind of funny for a minute. But the Panic was the first one up, right?
Yeah.
And that one, because some of these other games had gone for ridiculously low prices, and that's what I was telling Rich. I'm like, you should tell Floyd to bid on these, set a low bar, but I said, you maybe just be able to walk out with these, because everybody else is bidding low, right?
Yep.
And I think he'd set his price for Panic because it had a torn label at like $200, which I think was fair enough.
Yeah, it was a really torn label.
Yeah, there was not much left of it. And there was a reproduction label included, but whatever, right? It had a torn label. And it stalled out somewhere like around, wasn't it like 220 or something?
Yeah, not much higher than that.
Yeah, and the guy that owned it was like, nah. Wasn't that the way it went? He was like, no, I'm not.
He pulled it. He wasn't happy with that price.
Yeah, and Rich was kind of bummed. And I said, well, just when it's over, just go talk to him. Maybe he'll change his mind. Show him $200 to cash in his face, and maybe he'll change his mind or something. Or maybe it never hit the $200 point. I don't remember. On that one. But he kind of thought he had lost that one. And then when Flintstones came up, that's when the buyers showed up out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, two guys specifically, really interested in that one, driving it up.
And they drove that one up fast.
Yeah.
And it still probably went for a fair price, but probably more, when you say probably about market.
No, it's still a little under. Like, I think it went for like $670, I think was the final vote.
But isn't it somewhere like $750, $800 now?
Yeah, like it wasn't a steal, but it was a decent price. It was in really good shape.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, they did well. But, I mean, it wasn't like some of these other stuff that had gone ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
It wasn't like getting an NES TV for next to nothing. Which is much rarer than a Flintstones game. But I don't know what these people were thinking. I think, quite honestly, people didn't realize. It's the only thing I could come up with.
Or they traveled, and hey, that takes up a lot of room taking it home.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe like people are like, I flew out here, and...
Yeah.
But I figured there had to be enough locals probably involved in that.
I know the guy that bought the Flintstones and the Tournament Fighters was from Chicago.
Okay. I wonder about the guy that was bidding against you, where he was from.
I'm not sure. I didn't see him bid on anything else.
Yeah, I don't think so. I could see that being a deterrent, but I mean, these things are super rare. But anyway, yeah, Flintstones went pretty high, and I don't blame Rich for bowing out on that one, because who knows where it was going to end up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'll show up again. It's nothing crazy. And then I'm trying to think what rounded the night out. Didn't they have a few other things that were kind of big towards the end?
I don't remember. I thought the Flintstones was one of the last ones they saved there.
Was that the big bang at the end? I remember the Apple II setup went like really cheap.
Yeah.
I was really surprised because I was like, wow, I would love to have that. I mean, I didn't have the money, but even at the price it went, I'm like, that's a great deal. Nobody bought that arcade cab.
The guy, it's kind of happened like that Panic restaurant. The guy that was bidding on it went and talked to them afterwards and ended up with it.
Oh, did he? Okay. All right. Yeah. But yeah, so after the thing ended up, Rich goes over to talk to the guy, and he settled up at a great price, right? So he walked away with it.
Yep.
And then Krabby comes up to me, and I'm like so excited for him, like patting him on the back, like, yes, it's awesome that you got this TV. And then what do you say to me?
Well, I don't want to ship that thing home. It's got to stay down here in the States.
So basically he's like, do you want to buy an NES TV? And I was like, I was a bit choked up. I was like, that's so, because I've been looking for one of these things for a really long time. And eyeballing the one in the store over here for years.
And I saw you eyeballing that one, yeah. And talking to him about it, and yeah.
Like every time I go in, I was like, is that thing still there? But yeah, you were very kind to pass that along to me, which I appreciate very much. And works great.
You were very kind to let me crash on your couch, pick me up at the airport, drive me around, feed me, introduce me to your family.
We had a great time. One of these days, if I can get up to Canada, you'll have to do the same.
Absolutely.
I can't promise you an NES TV.
But I can't promise we will find one anywhere around here for you to even buy me. So.
Probably not. If you want to come down and try to work a deal on the one here locally, I'll back you up.
Have you stripped it of all its controllers and remotes and stuff yet?
Not yet. I don't have the extra funds right now, but I'm going to try to go make a deal for the controllers and remote. Because that way I figure you can still have your display piece because nobody sees the controllers, right?
Yep.
And maybe it's a win-win, maybe? I don't know. We'll see.
He's got two. Maybe he's willing to even just part with one. Just
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. But then we decided we were hungry, so we wanted to go get pizza, right?
Best pizza ever.
That's, yeah, so Anthony orders mashed potato pizza.
It was good.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't either. I enjoyed it. He was sharing. We were trading pieces. We had a few different kinds going around.
Mashed potato pizza. I didn't try it. I was like, that's not even pizza.
It was really good. I wish you would have tried it. I think you would have enjoyed it.
That's not pizza.
But it's still good.
Well, I've never heard of that thing in my life. I had like a super meaty pizza. That was delicious. And then we took the last, we had a lot of fun there, don't get me wrong, but we took the last bits of the pizza over to Bill because he was, of course, winding the thing down, and fed him and some of the other RetroWare guys with some pizza. And there were some of the concerts they had at the end that were kind of winding down.
The arcade had dissipated, so we took that over for the last 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, but first, you wanted a picture with Billy from the Game Chasers.
That was fun. They actually came up, there's a Retro Collector Facebook group here, and one of them was talking, and in the comments, just casually, they're like, "Oh, have you seen this YouTube? Have you seen this YouTube? I love the Game Chasers." I was like, me and Billy are tight. I just posted the picture of me and him underneath that comment, and then there was just like a whole bunch, "Oh my God!"
That's funny. Because, they were there the whole show, and I don't know, besides that, we didn't really interact with them at all. I'm sure they're nice guys, but...
yeah, seemed friendly. He was sitting there just hanging out, having a drink and chatting with his friends, and he was kind enough to come and take a picture with me.
Yeah, he was really nice about it. And I imagine, they're probably really nice guys. And we closed the arcade out, right, until the point where Bill told us we had to leave.
Oh, and I was just at Wily's Castle on Mega Man 3 on a Play Choice 10 there.
I know, you just, and I felt bad, but I had to come up and tell you, you got to turn it off.
10 more minutes. 10 more minutes.
But yeah.
But we had a really fun game, NBA Jam, too.
Yeah, I wasn't in on that one, but I think I was over playing Raiden or something
I think Adam was on my team with that one, and we just dominated.
I was playing Anthony in some Mortal Kombat 2. I had a lot of fun with that. I forgot to mention in the arcade game series, earlier in the day, they had a bunch of console games there too, right? We played some console stuff. You were in a contest.
I don't want to talk about that contest.
No?
It was bad.
Kirby's like, I'm going to get in on this Dr. Mario contest.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty confident. And then my first match, I just got decimated and knocked out of the whole thing, and like it wasn't even close.
This girl just nuked Krabby out of the water.
Yeah.
In Dr. Mario. I mean, it was like not even funny.
I was like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Look over. I got like 20 viruses left. She's got like 3.
I know. I'm watching, and I'm just like, oh, hang it up, Krabby. I'm just watching her play. Like, no mistakes. Just bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Oh, you should feel good. Remember, though, she made it like into the finals.
Yeah, she was in the finals. So
unfortunately, you just got paired up poorly. I mean, somebody's got to be the person, right?
Yeah, it was me. I had a good streak on the Marvel Superheroes, or the Marvel, what was it, Superheroes Street Fighter Cross Marvel? I don't remember what it was called, but I had a good streak on there, beat a bunch of people. Stuck on that one for like half an hour.
We played some Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition.
Yeah.
For a little while. And the thing that got me, that made me feel like back in the day, was remember like somebody came up and put their quarter on the glass. Next. And I'm like, perfect. Because the game is on free play. You know what I mean? But just to see somebody do that again, I'm like, wow, it's been a long time since I've seen somebody do that.
That's a classy dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, happily. Because that dude that was playing right there with that Vega, man, he was good.
He had a good streak on there. He was
really good with Vega.
He knew the other side, though. He's like, yeah, a couple of those buttons don't work.
Yeah. And we played Sapphire on PC Engine.
That was really cool.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I still need to burn me a copy of that one. It's very expensive. Have you looked at the price?
No, I haven't.
It's very, very expensive.
Like more than 300?
Yeah, I have to look at it again. I looked like right after that. I don't remember offhand, but it was pretty pricey.
Played some Neo Geo?
We did. I trounced you a little bit in some... which one was it? It wasn't King of Fighters, was it?
Trounced me. I went on like a 8-game win streak with Kim, and then when I switched characters, he started making a comeback.
Yeah, when I switched to Terry. I got you pretty good with Terry.
Wasn't as good as my Kim streak.
I was doing pretty good with Terry for a while. But what was it? Was it a King of
Fatal
Fighters?
Fury.
Fatal Fury. Okay. I couldn't remember which series it was a part of. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. I'm trying to think if we played anything else in the console space. I don't think so. At least I didn't. Mostly arcade stuff.
Played some Mario with Floyd before we went on our little lunch excursion there.
The eternal lunch wait?
The eternal lunch line.
I felt bad for Bill. I mean, simply because I know he just had his heart into this being as good as it could. I'm sure as a person that's putting this thing together. But one of the food trucks ditched out at the last minute.
He originally wanted more of them too, and the venue made him limit them.
Yeah, so it was tough. You had to wait a long time, and it was a cold day. And the only other truck that was there was like ice cream. So
good milkshakes though.
You did get a milkshake and plenty of time to come back before your sandwich.
Yeah,
the food was good that we eventually got though. It's just you had to wait a really long time to get it.
It was really good,
but no complaints. I mean, it all turned out just fine. But all in all, it was a really fun show, right?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, had a really great time. I mean, I could compare it to some of my other conventions I've been to, but I mean, compared to some of the stuff you've been to, what'd you think?
I haven't got to go to like game conventions like that before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was everything I wanted, and I got to see some really cool items that I couldn't afford at the time.
Yeah,
like I've never seen like a boxed Final Fight guy. And I got to see, I wish I would have saved a little more money because there was a ton of Neo Geo AES games there.
Yeah, there was.
There was like 7, which is like a ton. So I got to buy a AES game, which I haven't done in years because where do you find those?
Yeah, definitely. eBay. That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff.
They had a laser active there too with the Genesis module on it.
That's true. Yeah, there was a laser active. And we got to meet our sponsor, right? We got to meet Chris from Off the Charts.
Yeah, invite us or ask us to come take a picture with him.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. I chit-chatted with him a little bit. He had a nice booth. I think he was doing pretty well, selling through some product pretty well. Yeah, we took a picture with him. So take a look back through our Twitter. You probably find it on there. But Chris was great. And it was nice to finally, get to put a face with the name and say hi to him for a minute. So all of us got together and say, I think, he's out of Pennsylvania. And his Lansdale store will be opening up anytime now, just in case you're interested. But, you always hear the ad. I don't know how many people actually listen to the ad each time, or hopefully not too many people forward through it. But give OTCvideogames.com a shot. Use our code Collectorcast. Do we get a little bit of sponsorship out of it? Sure, but quite honestly, Chris is a great guy. They've got great stuff, and they price things well.
I bought through them before, and I was really happy. And like they advertise, like you can see the actual thing you're buying. They'll show you a picture of the item you're buying, and if they have multiple copies, you can scroll through them and find the one you're happiest with. Yeah,
and I've sold to Chris too. If you're looking to sell off like some bulk console lots or something, he makes it super easy to work with. I mean, here's a label. You box it up. Here's your money. Piece of cake. So, anyway. Chris was great. Well, it was nice to meet him. But yeah, just a really wide range of vendors. I mean, obviously mostly video games, but not exclusively video games, right? There's some other stuff there.
Yeah, there was some cool art stuff, some clothing things. I think all the musicians that were there had their stuff. They were selling like CDs and T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, there was some swag and stuff from those guys, and
there were the world's most comfortable chairs. They looked ridiculous, but they were so comfortable.
Yeah, they were almost kind of like beanbag chairs, but not quite, right?
Yeah, like beanbag chairs that you could form around your body in any shape you wanted.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a good venue, even though I think they said they might try to look at something different next year. But I think it worked out really well. Everything was really well laid out. It was easy to find. It was easy to get in and out of. The parking was not a problem.
Well, except for that guy that ran into the rental.
This guy that had to bump the back of our rental in the parking lot. But thankfully, the rental people didn't say anything about it, so it turned out okay. He didn't really do much. It was just kind of, it was rude. But yeah, it was a really good time. And you then, I think it was like you were making your flight plans to leave the next morning that evening.
Yeah, I had to change plans. I was hoping to stay one more day and hang out with the guys that were sticking around after the con, but I ended up having to run home and hope to take care of some stuff back here.
Understandable, because, your wife was doing a great job running the store in your absence, and, that's a lot to take on, so, yeah I get it.
Taking care of my son by yourself for the week, too. A little bit of help from extended family, but, yeah, it was wearing on her, so I raced home a day early to help out with some stuff.
Yeah, so you booked some flight plans, and you had to be at the airport at 5 a.m. or something like that?
Yeah, and we had to drive to the airport, so we had to get up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, and you booked it through, where did we have to go? Was it?
The one in New Jersey.
Yeah, was it Newark, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Newark Airport, which was 2 hours or so away, or hour and a half or something like that.
Yep.
So we got up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Exactly.
After that long day to get up and go. And I'm like, well, if you don't mind, you drive, because I'm going to be dead tired and I have to drive back with that by myself. So we went down, no problem really getting there, although it was just more, New York stuff.
Yeah.
And I get you off to the airport, away you go, it's good to see you, and you're on the plane, and okay, now I've got to get back home, or get back to Bill's. This is the part you missed out on. So, going there, do you remember going there, how many tolls did we have to pay?
I think just one on the way there.
Yeah, it was nothing too, right?
$5 or $4 or something
like that, yeah. You know how many tolls there are coming back the other way?
The same amount?
No. Oh, no. I had to come across that George Washington Bridge again, the same one we had gone over. You have to pay a toll coming back, and it was $15 just to get across that bridge.
Oh, man.
But that wasn't the bad part. I'm like, okay, fine. No big deal.
They know how to get you. They know you won't pay to go into New Jersey. They know you will pay to leave, though, right?
Exactly.
Just whatever, take all my money. I need out of here.
Exactly. So that kind of surprised me pulling back in, but I had the money. So I'm like, okay, that's the way it is. And then the signage, as soon as you get in, was crazy about where to go. And the GPS is telling me where to go. And I end up getting off on an exit that basically puts me onto the streets of New York. And I'm in a part of town that probably doesn't look very good to be in.
Unless you're lonely, or you know people that have some meth for you.
Maybe. And at about 5:30 in the morning, there was surprisingly a lot of lights and a lot of people hanging out. And I'm just thinking like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. How do I get out of here? Oh crap. I'm just like, please GPS, get me out of here. Because it's kind of like the situation where you like really would love to stop and ask somebody for directions, but I don't want to get shot. So I'm like, oh God, please. And I'm not a praying kind of guy, but if I was, I would have been praying. And so the GPS starts leading me. And does it lead me right back onto the highway where I just left? No. No, it doesn't do that at all. It leads me like all through the city. Into like some weird roads that I was like, I'm not going to come out of here again, am I?
At least you got to meet me before you died.
That's the way it felt. I did eventually make it back. It took much longer to get back. But I was really like, wow, this is not good. So yeah, by the time I finally got home, my nerves were 100% shot, and I was exhausted, tired from not getting any sleep. So Bill and them were sort of just starting to get up, and like, oh yeah, we're gonna go hit the flea markets and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to bed. Honestly, I'd already gone to bed. He come and checked on me. I'm like, I'm just sleeping. I'm sorry.
Thank you for taking me to the airport. I really appreciate it.
It's okay. I'm not blaming you.
No, I know, but even just having to get up that early and drive that far back alone and stuff, like, I owe you big time.
No, that's not it. It was like a harrowing tale. I just wish it had been the same going back the other way.
Uneventful.
What I learned is I'm never taking anyone to the Newark airport again. So if you're flying back in there, don't go to Newark. I'm not going back there if you want to ride from me. But I mean, I did make it back. I think I probably got back to his place. It was probably like 7:30, 8 o'clock. And like I said, I just went to bed. And the
airport was really creepy too. Like it had long corridors, and half of them was always the metal detectors and like frisking stations.
Yeah.
And so the whole way down this long corridor, you were just watching people get frisked.
Nice. That makes you feel
weird.
safe.
Yeah.
Right. So was your flight home pretty uneventful, pretty easy?
Yeah. It wasn't bad. Yeah. I tried to offer this nice lady next to me some gum, and I threw it all over her and spilled it all over the place and came off like an ass instead, but other than that, it was good. Yeah.
Oh, man. But I literally slept until probably like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, the plane rides were like a blink of an eye. Like I would get on them, sleep, wake up when we got to the next one, have my layover, and then sleep on the plane ride, and they were quick.
Yeah, I didn't really get up until those guys were all done with all their running around. And when they came back, I was like, okay, we got to take them to the airport soon. I was just exhausted. I just slept. And I was very thankful that they just let me sleep because I needed it. But it was that. I got up. I kind of got spruced up a little bit. And I went with Bill to take Floyd and Rich back to their respective airports, which were like 2 different airports that they were going to.
Between all of us, I think we hit every airport within like a 3-hour drive of Bill's place.
I've seen them all, I think, now, especially for someone that's never flown in. Well, no, I've flown into Newark once, but yeah, we saw all of them, especially like the one I think Rich flew out. It was like tiny. I was like, this is an airport? very small. It was either him or Floyd. I think it was Rich. Because I think Floyd flew back out of LaGuardia or something. But anyway. So Bill and I went back to Bill's dad's. They were very kind to invite me to dinner. And made a very nice spaghetti dinner. And we got to hang out. And then I went to bed early so I could get up and do the 12-hour drive back. Which surprisingly, I thought was going to be rough. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was a really nice day. It was a good drive. And I think after so much time around people, it was kind of nice just to have some quiet for a minute.
Yeah, I believe you.
Just some quiet. So it was a nice day. I listened to some podcasts, decompressed. And by the time I got home, I was like, that's great. I got to see my kids before they went to bed. Got everybody in bed. Kind of put my stuff down. It was good. It was a good day.
Cool.
So RetroWorld Expo, I think they're talking about next year maybe doing 2 days.
Yeah, Bill was mentioning that.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the plan, so we'll have to see. Understanding that it's quite possibly you may not make it out next year, which you got some other stuff going on, right?
I do. We had the curse of the expo hit us.
I think we found out you're not the only one, but I don't think we can tell everybody about the other guilty party yet.
Yeah. So we're having a new baby in June, so I don't know that I'll be traveling anywhere next year. But if I do, I know Engineer Mike has expressed some interest in maybe tagging along.
Well, maybe you guys can split. Well, you're always, you can always crash at Bill's place, or if you want a road trip part of it, you're always more than welcome to come here and crash at my place. So
that was pretty fun.
We had a pretty good time. So RetroWorld Expo, check it out. I know they're going to probably start the beginnings of plannings for next year if you're interested and you're over towards the East Coast. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it out next year. I plan to try to do everything I can, and I don't have any kids coming, so I think I'm going to try to make it out.
Any yet?
No. My wife and I have made sure after the last curse of the expo, that's not going to happen again.
I get to do that next year.
Yeah, have fun. That's all I can tell you.
I'm excited about it, actually.
Yeah, it's nice to know that you won't have any more surprises. But I think it's good for you, right? You're still pretty young. It'd be good to have another kid. You'll like it.
We're happy about it. We're thrilled. We went and we're getting a new car tomorrow to make sure we have enough room and something safe and reliable for everyone. And
maybe you'll get a little crab arena, right?
Maybe. That's what I'm pushing for.
Yeah, you have no say, but
I have no say. I'm going to pretend I do, though. It's going to make me feel real good.
So remember, next summer we'll be building up to the big reveal for Krabby's. It's been a busy show, and we've been at this probably 3.5 years, and been a lot of kids have come about during this show.
Have been, yeah.
It's been action packed, and I think
we just had my brother-in-law and his family stay with us, and they have 4 kids. The oldest is 7, and as soon as they left, my wife and me both looked at each other and said, 2's good. 2's good.
I got 3, and yeah, 3 is good. I would never go more. I love kids to death, but it's something else.
Oh, your girls were delightful.
Yeah, no, they're great kids. But yeah, I'm getting old, so.
I hear you. Yeah, just keeping up after little ones is, exhausting already.
Just wait. Yeah, just wait.
Oh, I know. My 7-year-old, we went to a birthday party yesterday at the roller rink, and he hasn't really skated, so I was with him the whole time, kind of holding his hand and keeping him upright, and I don't know how I'm going to keep up with a 1 to 3-year-old. I'm going to need to hit the gym some more.
You'll figure it out. And you'll sleep even less than you do now.
Looking forward to it. Oh, here's the best news, though.
Oh.
Because my wife is not working.
Uh-huh.
Guess who gets to take the whole paternity leave?
Oh, you're going to take 9 months?
I'm going to get more sleep when we have an infant than when I'm working. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, but you're right. Yeah, Canada, land of milk and honey. That's what I found out over the trip. I live in the wrong country.
You're not far away.
I'm telling you.
You're just a 35-hour drive.
Yeah. Well, once you're ready for the next Game Quest franchise and you need somebody to run it, let me know.
Sure.
Well, I think that probably wraps it about up. Krabby, anything else you think we need to add?
No, I just wanted to thank Rich too. He was holding on to some stuff for me. Gave to me at Bill's some really cool items like complete in box Mega Man X3, Super Nintendo boxes for Magic Sword and Legend. He had a Mario Clash for the Virtual Boy complete in box for me. Avenging Spirit for the Game Boy. Dragon Strike for the NES. Super thankful that he took care of those and got them down here for me.
Yeah, and I would have to agree. He was really nice to swing a couple games my way too. So I just thanks a lot, Rich. It was just out of the blue, something nice that he just thought about and looked on my wish list a little bit. There's some pretty cool stuff there. Take time if you haven't to watch the panel. It's very kumbaya friendly, but they're really just a great, fantastic group of people. And I feel a lot about the listeners to this show, a lot about the same thing. I think if most of the listeners of our show that I've interacted with, we all were together in a room, it would be like a bunch of best buddies getting together and playing some games.
Yeah, like when everyone showed up, like piece by piece, there was like no weirdness to it at all. Like everyone just clicked immediately, and we had in jokes like right off the bat, and everyone's laughing and sharing and trading things, and it was amazing.
Yeah, nobody missed a beat. It was like we were all long lost friends that hadn't seen each other in a little while. But I mean, everybody just jumped right in. Yeah. But again, I can guarantee a lot of our listeners, at least the ones I've interacted with, I think it would be no different. So, thanks to our listeners out there, for being a part of this. And I know this is probably the least gamey show that we've done, but I hope you've enjoyed a little talking about our experience in going to the con. And do us a favor, go watch the panel on YouTube. It's just Collectorcast on YouTube. You can find it there. Again, send in your questions if you want to have a chance at those codes, or even if you don't. We always like having the questions. Krabby, real quick, where can people find us?
Not at Podcast Pickle. That's no longer a thing. Don't even check it.
Pickle. That's right. R.I.P. Podcast Pickle.
We need to kickstart it, revive it.
No, it's okay.
I like watching them on YouTube.
YouTube. All of your usual podcast outlets, right? So iTunes, Windows Store, Stitcher. Podomatic, definitely.
Find us on rfgeneration.com.
Yes, wonderful website. Track your collection. Visit with us. We are there. And you can also interact with us on Twitter. You'll definitely probably get to see the most activity on that side. So we are at Collectorcast and Collectorcast on Facebook. Give us a like. We're almost at 100 likes, which is about 1 million under Krabby's store.
But you can ask a question on there. And if we pick it, you will win a code.
There you go. And Krabby's not giving out codes on his store.
Nope. So you'll be at like 10,000 by next week.
No, probably not. But anyway, we are getting close, I think, about 600 on Twitter. So much better on the Twitter side of things. But it's not surprising. Nice. I'm much more active on Twitter. And probably only 90% of those are fake junk accounts. Anyway, well, thanks everybody very much for joining us for another episode. We'll come back soon with a little more game talk, and we'll catch you soon.